The candle flame sways gently on the delicate silver candlestick, casting a warm and intimate glow over the entire restaurant. I am wearing the starlight blue dress suit that Shini-chan proposed with 3 years ago. A dress, I said, not even the stars and the sea compare to you. Sitting at the long table laid with white tablecloth. The table is set with his favorite French pan-seared foie gras, and the steak I baked myself, rare to medium rare, seasoned with black pepper and rosemary, just like our first anniversary of marriage. The clock on the wall slowly moves toward 8 o'clock in the evening. The phone screen lit up briefly, not with his message, but a warm reminder from the hotel. Dear MS, Jiang Wanqing, your reserved blue sky honeymoon suite at the beachside resort has been held for you. You may check in tomorrow. Wishing you and your partner a romantic anniversary trip, anniversary journey. I tugged at the corner of my mouth and slammed my phone onto the table. The nude pink cat-eye gel nails I had just done this morning glittered with tiny shards of light in the candlelight. For this third anniversary, I booked the entire Seaview honeymoon suite a month in advance and planned a full 3 days of itinerary. Shini-chan, at that moment, was wrapping his arm around my waist, his chin resting on the top of my head, and with a smile in his voice, he said, just listen to Mrs. Shin. For those 3 days I won't care about anything else. I'll be with you. Mrs. Shin, what a moving-sounding address. Now, it sounds like this steak on the table that's slowly cooling. The surface still has steam, but the inside has gone cold. The clock struck 8:15. I picked up my phone and dialed that well-worn number. The ringtone rang for a long time, long enough for me to think it would hang up automatically like it had the previous few times, and only then was it answered. Hello? Shini-chan's voice came through, the background noise a bit loud, like a conference room, and also like the soft music of a restaurant. I suppressed the strange feeling in my chest and tried to keep my voice sounding calm and gentle. Ichen, where are you? The dishes are almost cold. The other end of the line paused for a moment, then came his formal, slightly impatient tone. Wanqing, didn't I tell Assistant Zhou to speak with you? There's a multinational video conference tonight that is crucial to the company's listing. I can't step away. Assistant Zhou, I didn't receive any call or message from Assistant Zhou at all. You didn't have Assistant Zhou tell me. I heard my own voice grow colder. Moreover, today is our 3rd wedding anniversary. Shini-chan, I know it's an anniversary. His tone sharpened a bit, but soon softened again, carrying that familiar, perfunctory reassurance I'm used to. Wanqing, don't cause trouble. Going public is the most important thing right now. After this busy period, I'll replenish you, double the replenishment. Cancel the hotel first. We'll go next time. Next time, it's always next time. On their 1st wedding anniversary, he said he would open up a new market. Next time for the replenishment. In the 2nd year, he said the financing agreement would be finalized. Next time for sure. In the 3rd year, he said the company would go public. Still next time. My next time is forever stalled in the distant, never arriving next time. Do video conferences have to run this late? I stared at the candle flame and asked, of course, the other party is the executive on the American side. There's a time difference. Don't wait. Eat first yourself and get some rest early. He spoke quickly, as if eager to end the call. I have to start on my end. I'll hang up now. Shini-chan, beep, beep, beep. The busy tone cleanly and decisively cut off the words I hadn't managed to say yet. I was holding my phone, listening to that monotonous busy tone, and suddenly found it a little ridiculous. The expensive suit I wore, the meticulously prepared dinner on the table, and all the effort I had spent over the past 3 months secretly dieting, skincare, and selecting gifts, all of it, at this moment, had become a ridiculous play I was directing and performing alone. He is not available. The company's going public is more important than his wife of 3 years. I put down the phone, picked up the knife and fork, and took a small piece of the steak into my mouth. The meat was good, the cooking was just right, but it tasted bland on the tongue. I ate that cold steak bite by bite, slowly finishing it, no waste. This was the best ingredient I picked out at the imported supermarket first thing in the morning. Then I got up, started clearing the table. I poured the ice-cold foie gras into the trash, washed the plates, dried them, and put them in the sanitizer. The motions were mechanical, but orderly. After finishing all this, it was almost 10 in the evening. Only one floor lamp was on in the living room. I curled up on the sofa, hugging my knees. The huge floor-to-ceiling window outside showed the city's dazzling lights, but in this nearly 300-square-meter penthouse duplex, it was quiet enough to hear my own breathing echo. Shini-chan often says that he works so hard just to give me the best life, the best house, the best car, unlimited black cards, the coveted title of Mrs. Shin that everyone envies. But right now I just want a husband who can come home on time, remember our anniversaries, and eat the meals I cook. Is that request too extravagant? My phone buzzed again. I thought it was him finally remembering something and sending a belated apology, but when I looked, it was a push notification from the bank app. Your credit card ending in 6688 was charged today at 21:47 at Blue Sky Resort Hotel for an amount of 6,888 RMB. My breathing froze in that moment. My fingers ached a little as I opened the notification details. Merchant name, Blue Sky Resort Hotel, Cloud Restaurant, amount spent, 6,888 yuan, card number tail, 6688, that is Shini-chan's secondary card. The primary card is in my hands, tied to my phone number. This secondary card is the one I set up for him when we just got married. He said it would be convenient for entertaining. 9:47 p.m. Blue Sky Holiday Hotel, Cloud Dining Western Restaurant. He said he was having a multinational video conference, and his company is nearly 2 hours drive away from that resort hotel. What kind of meeting requires going all the way to a hotel restaurant that far? A cold and sharp thought stabbed into my mind without warning. I sat up straight. My fingers trembled a little, yet I unusually quickly opened the hotel booking app and logged into my account. I found the order that had been booked a month ago. The order status was clearly displayed. Check-in time, today at 18:32, guest, Shini-chan. My eyes fixed on those words, the screen's light pricking my eye sockets until they burned. The honeymoon suite I booked, the anniversary itinerary I planned, my husband swiping on my supplementary card, taking someone with me. We moved in with a loud bang. It felt like something in my head exploded. Anger, humiliation, disbelief, and a bone-deep chill rushed over me all at once, making my limbs tremble. I clenched my lips so hard that a hint of rusty, iron blood smell filled my mouth, barely pulling back a shred of reason. I must not panic, Jiang Wanqing. You can't panic. I took a deep few breaths, the cold air flooding into my lungs, slightly suppressing the overwhelming vertigo. I exited the hotel's app and opened Moments. My fingers moved mechanically, slipping down. Most of it was irrelevant sharing, advertisements, selfies, until I scrolled to Shintingting, my young aunt's latest update. It was posted 30 minutes ago. There is no caption, only one photo. In the photo, the background is the resort's iconic infinity pool against a blue sea and sky, shimmering with lights at night. Two people sit on the lounge chairs by the pool. A man only caught a side profile, wearing a casual shirt with the cuffs casually rolled up, slightly turning his head to listen to the woman beside him. But that profile, that shirt style, even the limited edition watch on his wrist I gave him, I would recognize them even if they turned to ashes. It was Shini-chan. Next to him, right beside him, sat a young girl wearing a white spaghetti-strap dress. The girl smiled with eyes curving, holding a vividly colored cocktail, facing the camera, her posture intimate and natural. Shintingting liked this photo. There are a few more comments from mutual friends below. Hey, President Shin, what a fine mood you're in. This place is beautiful, and the beauties around President Shin are even more beautiful. Have a delightful vacation. My fingers were cold, almost unable to hold the phone, my eyes fixed on Shini-chan's relaxed profile in the photo, and on the young, vibrant smile of that girl. So this is what he called a cross-border video conference. This is what he meant by the crucial period for the company's listing. Cannot leave. This is why he stood me up, making me wait like a fool for a cold dinner to accompany another woman. Go stay in the honeymoon suite I reserved. Dine at the hotel restaurant I chose. My heart felt like it was tightly squeezed by an invisible hand, my chest aching so that I could hardly breathe. But what followed was a blazing, almost engulfing anger that could burn everything to ashes. Shini-chan, not bad for you. Do you really think I, Jiang Wanqing, am made of mud with no temper at all? Do you really think our Jiang family supported you, Shini-chan, to where you are today, just so you could use it to trample on their daughter? I turned off Moments, and my fingers went pale at the knuckles from the gripping force. Now is not the time to cry. Crying solves nothing and only makes the people who betray you laugh at you. I stood up, walked to the study, and Turned on the computer, the cold light from the screen shone on my face, and my gaze gradually grew cold and firm. First, I logged into the mobile banking. I found all the subsidiary cards under Shini-chan, including the one ending with 6688, as well as several that I don't use often but are linked to my main card. Selected, frozen, confirmed. The operation was smooth and seamless. Without a hint of hesitation then, I dialed a number. The phone was picked up quickly, and a brisk female voice came. From the other end, General Jiang, "It's so late to call me. What's the matter?" "It's my private assistant, Zhou. She is not only a capable helper in my work but also someone I can completely trust." "Zhou." My voice was so calm that even I was surprised. "Two things. First, immediately contact the general manager of Blue Sky Resort Hotel. I want to pull the surveillance footage from after 6:30 this afternoon of the suite on the floor where Shini-chan checked in, the honeymoon suite, especially from the hotel front desk and restaurant." Zhou was silent for a moment on the other end, clearly realizing the seriousness of the situation. "Understood. What's the second thing?" "Secondly," I paused, and said word by word, "I want everything under Shini-chan's name, and all financial transactions he conducted in the company name that might contain problems, especially those from the past year. The more details the better. Since we are going to fight, we must know ourselves and our enemy." Shini-chan's company has been able to move toward the step of going public, and my father Jiang Haiming's resources and connections behind the scenes are crucially important, while I, as his wife, am not ignorant of his financial situation either. "Some accounts are due for settlement, Mr. Jiang." Zhou's voice grew serious. "This may take a little time. Some accounts may have been concealed more discreetly." "That's all right. I have plenty of time." I looked at the dark night outside the window, a cold smile curling at the corners of my mouth. Shini-chan should be busy enjoying his honeymoon right now, and has no time to manage these for the moment. "Yes, I'll take care of it right away," Zhou replied briskly. "I'll report to you as soon as there's news." After hanging up, I leaned back in the wide leather chair in the study. My fingertips tapped gently on the cold desk. "Shini-chan, didn't you say that the company going public is a crucial period and you can't be away? Then stay in the hotel properly. See if, without me, Jiang WXB, your critical period can still pass smoothly." I picked up my phone and opened Shini-chan's WeChat chat. The last conversation was yesterday. I asked him what time he could set off tomorrow, and he only replied, "As early as possible." I stared at that avatar, my fingers tapping quickly on the screen. "Shini-chan, are you having fun?" Click to send. Then I turned my phone to silent and tossed it into a corner of the desk. I knew he wouldn't respond right away. At this moment, he's with a beauty, a long night is short, who has time to deal with me, his immature wife. I don't need him to reply right away either. I just want him to know that I know this performance that he started. Now it's my turn to take the lead. I shut down the computer and walked out of the study. When I passed by the restaurant, the candles on the candelabras had long since burned down. Only 2 pools of congealed candle wax remained, their shapes ugly, just like my marriage with Shini-chan. There was once light and heat, but in the end it was reduced to nothing but this unsightly, repulsive residue. I walked over and expressionless. I threw the candelabra along with that pool of wax tears into the trash can, with a bang, crisp and sharp, as if placing a period at the end of the past 3 years of foolishness. The night is still long, but some people's good dreams, I fear, are about to come to an end. After I sent it, the phone screen dimmed, sinking like a stone into the deep sea. Not a single ripple of echo being stirred. I was not surprised at all. He is currently. I placed the phone screen down on the desk, forcing myself not to look at it, but the photo from my moments, imprinted in my mind like a hot brand, burned into my eyes. Shini-chan's relaxed side profile, the girl's bright smile, the flirtatious lighting by the pool, and Shintingting's like, the mutual friend's tacit teasing comments. They all know. Maybe many people already knew. Only I'm the one kept in the dark, still stupidly preparing some 3rd anniversary surprise. A wave of nausea rose up in my throat. I rushed into the bathroom, lying over the edge of the sink and retching a few times, but I couldn't vomit anything out, only the water flowing from the cold faucet. I cupped it in my hands and splashed it on my face. Trying to extinguish the fiery pain that burned in my internal organs, I raised my head. The face In the mirror looked pale, the eye sockets slightly red, but the gaze was unusually clear, even a little terrifying in its coldness. Jiang Wanqing, you cannot fall for a man like this. He isn't worth it. I returned to the study and picked up my phone again. This time, I didn't go to Shini Chen's chat window. Instead, I opened Shin Tingting's Moments homepage. Her Moments had no privacy settings, so I could keep scrolling forward. My fingers slid upward mechanically. Mostly it was her selfies, shopping updates, and a few tea time photos that looked refined but were actually hollow. I waited patiently, scrolling page after page, my eyes scanning like a scanner, filtering every piece of information, especially those featuring Shini Chen I reached roughly 3 months ago, and my finger paused. It was a set of 9 square photos taken at a newly opened trendy Japanese restaurant. Shin Tingting wore a pink suit and posed for the camera with a yeah gesture. In one corner of one photo, I spotted Shini Chen. He was seated on the inner side of a private room, turned slightly to talk to the person beside him. The photo only captured most of his profile and shoulder, and next to him there was a slender wrist exposed, wearing a very distinctive Pandora bracelet, with an ice cream-shaped pendant hanging from it. I have a very good memory, especially for jewelry. Last month, while cleaning the dressing table, I found inside a rarely used old wallet of Shini Chen a purchase receipt from a Pandora counter, specifically for this ice cream pendant. The receipt dated 4 months ago. I asked him about it casually, and he paused briefly, then nonchalantly said, "Oh, Tingting was talking about buying a new model at that time, so I bought it for her as I passed by." I just stuffed the receipt into her wallet. I believed it at the time. Now, looking at the hand in the photo wearing the same bracelet, with fingertips painted in a dazzling fuchsia nail polish that is completely different from mine, my heart sinks little by little. This hand is absolutely not Shin Tingting's. Shin Tingting prefers nude tones. I keep flipping forward. 2 months ago, Shin Tingting posted an update from the racetrack. In the photo she was in the passenger seat, and the man driving the car only captured his hands and the steering wheel. On that knobby wrist, he wore a watch, not the limited edition one I gave him, but a Patek Philippe I had never seen before, with a diamond-studded dial. Shini Chen rarely changes his watch, especially the one I gave him. He wears it almost every day, saying it's his lucky charm, so it turns out his lucky charm also changes according to the occasion. Half a year ago, Shin Tingting shared a set of photos of a luxurious KTV private room. In the gaps between a pile of liquor bottles and fruit plates, I saw Shini Chen leaning against the sofa, his arms stretched out, casually resting on the back of the sofa behind him, in the shadow cast by the crook of his arm. A hint of a white skirt hem and a head of slightly curled long hair could be seen. White dress, another white dress, like a vicious needle, stabbing into my sight time and again. I left Shin Tingting's friend circle and found a few people who have business dealings with Shini Chen, who can barely be considered friends of both Shini Chen and me, opening their Moments. Most are set to only chat, but there is a Mr. Lee who likes to post photos from various social occasions. I'm rummaging through. Found it about a month ago. General Manager Lee posted a group photo from a golf course. In the photo, Shini Chen was wearing a white polo shirt, with a proper smile. Beside him stands a young girl wearing a white sporty skirt and a sun hat. The girl is turned to the side, seemingly looking at the distant fairway, revealing only a delicate chin and a sweet profile arc. General Manager Lee's caption: Shin is so lucky to have a beauty accompany him on the golf course, balancing career and life perfectly. Like. There were others heckling in the following comments: President Lee, you don't understand this. This is Hongxiu Tianxiang, adding wings to help your career soar. President Shin's eye for people has always been good. Shini Chen replied with a smile expression. There was no denial, not a hint of embarrassment at all at that moment. A chill ran through my entire body, from the top of my head down to my feet. The early summer night wind sneaking in through the cracks sent shivers down my spine. Not a one-night stand, not a casual fling by chance. Look at this timeline. It has lasted at least 6 months, and perhaps even longer. They eat together, play ball together, appear in his sister's social circle photos, appear in photos with his business partner, and I, his legal wife in name, am like a clown, isolated from their world. I still cling to the hope of him saying, "I'll make it up to you next time," and I'm still carefully preparing for our anniversary. How ridiculous, so sad. The phone suddenly vibrated, and in the silent study it sounded unusually jarring. I glanced at the screen. Shini Chen, had he finally seen the message, or was he just enjoying his good night, and finally remembered me, the wife he left at home? I didn't answer right away, let the ring linger in the air for more than 10 seconds. then calmly tapped the answer button and pressed the record button at the same time. Jiang Wuxing, his voice carried clear, restrained anger. Transmitted through the earpiece, the background was very quiet, likely inside a room. What did you mean by that WeChat message you just sent? So spiteful and sarcastic. I leaned back against the chair, my tone so calm that there isn't a hint of ripple. Literally, I received the hotel bill. Guessing you had a pretty good time, just saying hello. Are you spying on me? His pitch rose, and froze my card. Jiang Wanjing, do you know what you've done? The hotel just said my card payment failed. And told me to go to the front desk to sort it out. In the middle of the night. Do you know how embarrassing this is? Oh, it was because the hotel front desk questioned the payment that I remembered to contact you. Shameful. I smiled lightly, though laugh devoid of warmth at all. Shinny Chen, you used the honeymoon suite I booked, brought another woman to spend the night, charged her a dinner of 6,888 on my supplementary card. Which of us do you think is more shameful? The line on the other end fell suddenly silent. All I could hear was his abruptly heavy breathing. After several seconds, he spoke, his voice lowered, but with a hard, embarrassed anger. What are you talking nonsense? What woman? I just came here to see an important client and stay the night. The hotel was indeed booked by you, but I'm not trying to waste anything, right? The client happened to be a lady. What's wrong with arranging to stay in a suite? We slept in separate rooms, sleep in separate rooms. There is only one extra large round bed in the honeymoon suite. Where would there be separate rooms? VIP client. I repeat the 4 characters, fingertips turning cold. That one who needs you to accompany swimming, take photos with your sister, play golf, and even wears the same bracelet as the sister you gave me. You looked at my sister's moments. His voice clearly panicked, but then it hardened again, even somewhat irritable. Jiang Wanqing, that's enough. Investigate me. When did you become so unreasonable and paranoid? I'm just normal. Socializing. The company is going public. I need to maintain all kinds of relationships. If you won't help, fine, but you're dragging me down here, freezing my card. Reactivate my card immediately. Don't add more trouble for me. Normal socializing, maintaining relationships. I drag my feet, every word, like a poison-tipped needle, pins on my heart. Once, he would also hold me gently and say, Wanqing, marrying you is the greatest blessing in my life. Without your family's support, without your understanding, I wouldn't have come this far. Turns out blessings can expire. Understanding is something to be trampled on. Shinny Chen, I interrupted his pompous accusations, my voice as cold as ice. You don't need to explain to me. I'm not interested in hearing your stories about normal socializing. The card is mine to stop at. It won't resume. Handle the hotel bill yourself, and that important client you mentioned. I paused, and with every word, I clearly told him, she is by Xia. 22 years old, a junior at the dance department of an art college, currently signed with a small modeling agency. Her father is a middle school teacher, her mother a nurse. Do you need me to tell you more? For example, where did she go last Wednesday afternoon when she had no classes, or who gave her the designer bag she received last month? On the other end of the line, deathly silence. Even the sound of breathing seemed to disappear. I can imagine the expression on his face at this moment. Surely shock, fear, and the embarrassment of having his face ripped apart. You investigated her. His voice changed entirely, dry, hoarse, and infused with unbelievable fear. Jiang Wanqing, what are you trying to do? What am I trying to do? I slowly stood up, walked to the window, looking at the city lights outside, still brilliant yet cold. Now it's you, Shinny Chen, and that Miss Bai. What do you want to do? I warn you. Jiang Wanqing, his voice turned ruthless, don't touch her. And don't do anything stupid. The company is at a critical stage of going public. If any scandal breaks out, it won't do anyone any good, especially you. You're still Mrs. Shin. Don't you understand the principle of mutual prosperity and shared losses? Mrs. Shin, prosper together, or fall together. Thinking back now, am I Mrs. Shin? Now I realize we are one entity. Shinny Chen, I said to my blurred reflection in the glass, slowly curling up the corners of my mouth. You know, I am still Mrs. Shin after all, so you'd better listen to me, right now. Immediately, revert the card, he spoke hurriedly, his tone laced with a hint of coaxing, but more with agitation and impatience. Wanching, stop messing around, be good, when I get back, we'll talk properly. Again with the be good, again with the stop fooling around. He always brushes me off in this tone that excuses immature children. Talk, I smile lightly, sure. When you come back, we'll talk properly, talk about divorce. When the last 3 words fell, I didn't give him a moment to react and I hung up the phone directly. Then, I added his number to the blacklist. The world instantly became quiet. Only the sound of my own heartbeat resounded steadily and powerfully in the quiet room. What I just heard was half preliminary information sent urgently by Zhou, half my own guesswork and coercion. It seems I was right about everything. By Xia, I muttered the name to myself, a 22-year-old female student. I walked back to my desk and opened the computer. Zhou's email had already arrived. Attached were some basic details about Bai Xia, plus a few suspicious transactions from the past 6 months that were routed under the names of public relations expenses and consulting fees. The payees were all shell companies or personal accounts, and the total amount was not small. This is just the tip of the iceberg, I replied to Zhou. Continue investigating, with emphasis on where these funds ultimately flowed, and the abnormal income of Bai Xia and her relatives' accounts over the past 6 months. Also, find a way to obtain clearer photos or videos that can directly prove the intimate relationship between Shini Chen and Bai Xia, prioritizing hotel surveillance. After sending, I leaned back in my chair and closed my eyes. A fatigue only realized belatedly surged up, but more than that was a calmness after a desperate gamble. The war has already begun. The first shot, I fired. Next, it's time to see how my dear husband and his fragile, important client handle things. I wonder how they will spend tonight's romantic honeymoon night without my supplementary card. All at once, I'm a little looking forward to dawn. Dawn came very quickly. I hardly closed my eyes all night, but not because of sadness or insomnia. It was just that the string in my brain was pulled so tight, with all kinds of information and plans whizzing around. Dispelling any sleepiness, in the latter part of the night, I simply got up and roughly organized some basic materials in the study about Shini Chen's company, as well as some documents related to our shared assets. When the dawn trickled in through the thick curtain seams, I realized that a new day had begun in a completely different way. The phone screen was on, with more than a dozen missed calls, coming from different unfamiliar numbers. No need to guess who it was, after I blacklisted his usual numbers. He found other ways to call. I didn't answer any of them, nor did I block these new numbers. Let him call, let him hurry, let him experience what it means to disappear into the depths of the sea. Washing up, I changed into a crisp off-white shirt and black dress pants, and I pulled my long hair into a neat low ponytail. In the mirror, there are faint shadows under my eyes, but my gaze is sharp, and the lipstick I applied in bright red makes my aura rise instantly. Today I am not a grieving widow, but Jiang Wanqing ready to go to war. Sitting on the living room sofa, I picked up my phone again and opened the mobile banking app. Last night I only emergency froze a few obvious supplementary cards. Now, I am going to carry out a systematic cleanup. First are all the subsidiary cards linked to my main card under his name, including a business card he keeps at the company for emergencies. I tick them off and confirm the freeze. Then there are the joint accounts. We have 2 joint accounts, one for large family daily expenses, and another is a joint investment account I helped set up at the outset of his entrepreneurship. The online banking keys for both accounts are in my hands. I log in without hesitation and reduce his operational privileges to the minimum, and set large transfers to require both parties' confirmation. Next are a few shell company accounts that his company uses to move some gray area funds but are actually linked to my personal credit and some asset guarantees. I know of the existence of these accounts to some extent. I used to turn a blind eye. Now, I have contacted my private banking manager and, on the grounds of asset security review, requested the temporary freeze of all liquidity in these accounts until I provide further authorization. Finally, I pulled out the emergency contact list for Shini Chen's company. It includes the chief financial officer, the legal counsel, and contact details for several key shareholders. After a moment of contemplation, I first sent a precisely worded message to the legal counsel. Lawyer Lee, hello. I am Jiang Wanqing. Given that there may be significant changes in my marriage to Mr. Shini Chen involving some shared interests, please, when handling documents in my personal name as a guarantor or for authorization, make sure to confirm with me personally or with my authorized attorney, Ms. Zhou, in advance. Thank you. Once the message was sent, it felt like dropping a pebble into the water. After finishing all of this, The mobile banking and various account activity logs were a long, continuous string. I took screenshots, saved them, packaged them, and sent a copy to my encrypted cloud drive. The first wave of financial sanctions is complete. Next, it's time to strike at the root. Zhou call came in promptly at exactly 9 o'clock in the morning. General Jiang, her voice hoarse from a night without sleep, yet unusually clear. The data you asked for, the first part has been organized. Speak first. Hotel surveillance. The general manager of the Bai Lon Tian Resort Hotel has some private connections with me and provided footage from part of last night's public areas. It clearly captured Mr. Shin together with Miss Bai Xia at the front desk checking in, behaving intimately. The restaurant surveillance also shows them dining together, and Miss Bai once fed Mr. Shin. These videos have been encrypted and sent to your email. Feeding. I clenched the phone a little harder with my fingertips. Good, very good. Second, financial loopholes. In a preliminary screening, over the past year, Mr. Shin paid more than 8 million yuan from the company accounts to 3 different shell companies under the headings of business development fees, strategic consulting fees, and special public relations expenditures, although the ultimate beneficiaries of these 3 shell companies tried to obscure their identities. Tracing the flow of funds shows that 2 transfers totaling 3 million yuan were deposited in the account of a distant maternal cousin of Bai Xia's mother, who recently had a record of large expenditures, including buying Bai Xia a basic sports car worth about 500,000 and paying for a down payment on an apartment under her mother's name. 8 million, 3 million, sports car, down payment on an apartment. Shin Chen, you're really generous. For our wedding anniversary you claimed you were busy, yet for this mistress you're paying out money with such ease. Third, Zhou continued the briefing. The personal situation of Bai Xia. As you know, she is a current college student, but she leads a luxurious life, far beyond what her family can afford. Besides the car and the house I mentioned earlier, she has recently been frequenting high-end venues, and her attire is all brand name. Not only Mr. Shin has close relations with her. We found that she is also closely involved with a son of a building materials merchant named Wang. He has given many gifts as well. Additionally, her modeling agency is very small, but the person in charge treats her with exceptional courtesy, nearly always accommodating her requests. It's suspected that Mr. Shin may have provided benefits to the agency or the person in charge through other means, not just one. I almost laughed in anger. Shin Chen, you hide and cherish him like a precious treasure, willing to betray your marriage to hold him up. That's what this all-embracing figure really is. I wonder what expression he'll have when he realizes he's only one of them. Fourth, and the most important point, Zhou's tone became even more serious. One of the core materials for Mr. Shin's company going public, the most critical technology patent exclusivity grant, was secured in the name of another tech company controlled by your father, Mr. Jiang Huai, and only obtained through the alumni connection of your mother, Mrs. Wen Jing. In the legal documents, the related party for the guarantee is the investment company jointly founded by you and Mr. Shin, and the largest asset mortgage of that company is one marital property you own, premarital. My heart sank suddenly. I know roughly about this, but I'm not clear on the details. My father and mother went to great lengths to help me, and Shin Chen, holding my pre-marriage assets, is paving the way for his luxurious life with another woman and adding weight to his dream of going public. In other words, I began slowly, my voice as cold as ice. If I withdraw the guarantee now, or if there is any issue with the mortgage status of my property, his IPO plans will be halted immediately, or even fall through. Yes, President Jiang, Zhou replied with certainty, and it would be a lethal obstacle. The brokerage houses and the CSRC would absolutely not allow a company to go public with such a major ownership risk and defects in the guarantee chain. Good, excellent, this is precisely the 7 inches I want. Zhou, I instructed. 2 things. First, compile the details of these financial loopholes, especially the portion that flows to Bai Xia's related party, into a clear report, and back up the original evidence. Second, contact my parents' private attorney and, in my name, formally send a letter to that tech company and the patent licensor, initiating a compliance review procedure for that guarantee document, on the grounds that I, as an important related party, have objections to the specific terms and risks of the guarantee and need a reevaluation. President Jiang, if that happens, Mr. Shin will probably be informed very soon, and he might, Zhou Yu hesitated, afraid he'll jump over the wall in a panic. I sneer. I want him to know. Let him know what he's depending on. Let him know that without me Jiang Wanqing, without our Jiang family, how fragile his dream is. Move quickly. Before off work today, the letters must be delivered. Understood. Just hung up on Zhou Yu's call. Another number. Could not wait to call in. This time it wasn't an unfamiliar number. 2 characters flashed on the screen. Mother-in-law, Zhao Fengji, who has always looked down on others, believed her son was the best in the world, and thought I had married into the Shen family by sheer luck. What was coming, indeed arrived. I picked up the phone, not in a hurry to speak. Jiang Wanqing, Zhao Fengji's sharp voice burst out immediately, with the chattering of Shen Tingting in the background. Are you crazy? Huh, you stopped Yichen's card, and you want someone to check what accounts. What are you trying to do, rebel? You, I put it on speaker, placed the phone on the coffee table, and slowly lifted the freshly brewed black coffee, taking a sip. A bit bitter, but refreshing. Mom, speak slowly, early in the morning, don't exhaust yourself. My tone was calm and even. Don't call me Mom. I don't want a daughter-in-law like you who doesn't know what's important. Zhao Fengji grew even angrier. Yichen works hard outside, isn't it, for this family, when the company is at a critical moment for going public. If you don't help, fine, but you're making trouble. Cancel his card. Let a big boss be humiliated like that in a hotel. Have you ever thought about his face? The company's face. His face. I put down the coffee cup. His face is to bring another woman, use the honeymoon suite I booked, swipe my card, and celebrate his anniversary. Mom, about this face, how do you think we should demand it? The other end of the line obviously faltered for a moment, but Zhao Fengji's fighting spirit wasn't something this little embarrassment could defeat. What other woman? Stop listening to wind and rain. Yichen said it's an important client. Socializing, flirting for show. Do you understand? Which successful man doesn't have his social obligations outside? Can't you be more magnanimous? Do you have to cause a ruckus? Hurry. Restore the card, apologize to Yichen, and this matter will be over. Flirting for show, be more magnanimous. I listened to this stale and disgusting rhetoric and suddenly felt that even getting angry would be a waste. Mom, I cut off her endless rambling. Bai Xia, 22 years old, an art academy student, has been playing this mutual entertainment with her for at least half a year. She's been gifted a car, a house, and plans to use the money from my prenuptial assets as collateral to continue supporting her. Is this play being done too completely, and the cost a bit too high? You, what are you talking about? Zhao Fengji's voice was a bit panicked, but she kept up the pretense. What car and house? Do you have any evidence? Stop spouting nonsense here. Evidence? I smiled. Do you want to take a look at a few photos from your daughter Shintingting's moments, or check the hotel surveillance to see how your son and that young mistress are acting with each other? Do you want me to post a few now in the family group so everyone can look at it with the high and mighty together? I have no fears. My voice finally cooled. In addition, I inform you that I have initiated a re-examination of the key guarantee documents for each companies. Until the re-evaluation is completed and my and Shenichen's marriage issue is clarified, all related procedures are suspended. This is also for the sake of the company, to avoid bigger disputes in the future. Don't you think, what, you want to ruin his, Jiang Wanqing, you bitch, you want to kill my son, you. Zhao Fengji was obviously stunned by the news, cursing indiscriminately. It wasn't me who killed him, it was him himself. I didn't bother to listen anymore. Also, from today on, I will no longer deposit a single penny into the family joint account. Your and Ting Ting's living expenses, and your gambling debts, please go directly to your good son. After all, he's so good at mingling, he must earn quite a bit. After speaking, I hung up directly and also blocked this number. The world is quiet again. Sunlight fully poured into the living room, falling on the polished floor. I picked up the coffee that had cooled a bit and drank it in one gulp. After the bitterness, there is a faint sweetness returning. Shinichen, Zhao Fengji, this is only the beginning. Everything you care about most, face, money, career, I'll take back, piece by piece, with my own hands. Or, I'll ruin it. Hanging up Zhao Fengji's call. The world doesn't truly become quiet. That phone call was like a fuse, igniting a powder keg ready to explode. I knew a more intense counterattack would come soon, from none other than Shinichen himself. He would never sit idly by, especially after his so-called face and career were challenged so directly. I didn't wait. I picked up the car keys and headed straight to the city center to the law firm renowned for its privacy. My private attorney, a capable woman with the surname Chen, had already received the preliminary dossier summary prepared by Zhou Yu and was waiting for me in the conference room. Without small talk, I got straight to the point. Attorney Chen, I want to start the divorce proceedings. The sooner the better. The focus is on property division and fixed evidence of the fault party. Attorney Chen pushed up his metal-rimmed glasses and analyzed calmly. Miss Jiang, based on the clues you provided, the other party clearly bears fault, and there is suspicion of transferring, concealing, and dissipating marital property during the marriage. This is crucial for our favorable division, but at present the evidence needs to be further solidified, especially a chain of evidence that can directly prove long-term stable cohabitation with a third party or the existence of a special economic transfer, hotel surveillance, records of joint entries and exits. Large transfer transactions, are these enough? I asked. They can serve as important evidence, but it's best to have something more direct, such as intimate photos, videos, or recordings where the other party admits, Lawyer Chen said cautiously. In addition, the key guarantee documents for his company's listing you mentioned involve very complex property relations and commercial games. I suggest that before filing a formal lawsuit, we first apply pressure through negotiation or by sending a lawyer's letter, test the other party's bottom line, while also buying us more time to gather evidence. I nodded. That works. Then first draft a lawyer's letter with a firm tone, clearly stating his wrongful acts and improper disposal of joint property, demanding that he provide explanations and solutions within a deadline, otherwise we will take legal action immediately and disclose part of the evidence. At the same time, in my name, officially notify relevant financial institutions and partners that due to a major change in marital status, all guarantees and authorizations provided by me personally or in the name of the couple for him and his company are to be suspended. Understood, Lawyer Chen wrote quickly. The letter of engagement can be drafted this afternoon, sent to you for review, and formally issued first thing tomorrow morning. The notice can be processed simultaneously. Good. I stood up. Also, keep an eye on Shini Chen's company, especially their communications with brokers and law firms. If there is any sign of trying to bypass my side or my father's guarantor, tell me immediately. Don't worry, I'll arrange someone to monitor. Leaving the law firm, it was already afternoon. The sun was glaring, yet I felt little warmth. My phone remained quiet. After I blocked Shini Chen's usual number, he seemed to have not found a new way to harass me, or he was already elsewhere dealing with a mess. I drove to the mortgaged premarital property. It is a spacious flat on the top floor of a high-end apartment in a prime location. A graduation gift my parents gave me when I graduated. The view is excellent. I rarely stay there and would rather live in the villa with Shini Chen after we get married, so it has remained vacant. I never expected it to become a tool for him to lever up his listing. The property manager looked surprised to see me. I directly demanded to view all recent visitor logs and the property fees, as well as electricity and water payments. The records were clean. No one had been living there. Except for regular housekeeping, the payment account was linked to one of my rarely used savings cards, and the transactions were normal. There isn't yet any sign that Shini Chen tampered with anything else, but this also makes me more vigilant. The fact that he can put on such a clean surface shows he has a lot at stake. After dealing with these, I returned home as dusk fell. The big house was empty, yet I strangely felt an unprecedented calm and sense of control, no longer the mistress waiting for her husband to come home, scrutinizing his thoughts, but the decision-maker of my own fate. I simply cooked a bowl of noodles, ate it, washed up, then leaned against the headboard with a book, not to read, just to have a posture to wait. I know he will surely come after the awkward hotel episode, my mother's scolding, and the pressure of possibly already hearing some news. He could no longer hold back. Sure enough, when the clock hands crossed 2 in the morning, the door issued a hurried and blunt electronic lock failure sound. The password I had changed when I came back this afternoon. Then my phone screen suddenly lit up, displaying a local landline number. In the dead of night, I called it from the home phone. I could almost picture him standing outside my door at this moment, perhaps reeking of alcohol or anger, looking ragged from calling from a convenience store or property management phone booth. I let the ringtone ring 7 or 8 times before slowly answering, still pressing the record button. Jiang, Wan, Xing. Shini Chen's voice was almost hoarse with shouting, and the Anger and shame that were about to erupt could be felt even through the telephone line. "Open the door for me, now." At once, in the background, there was the sound of howling wind. He was outdoors. After all, Sir Shin, my tone was flat. "It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Illegally entering a private residence is against the law. If you have something to discuss, please make an appointment for tomorrow, or contact through my lawyer." "Lawyer? You actually hired a lawyer too?" His voice rose sharply, and due to anger and coldness, perhaps, it wavered a bit. "Jiang Wanqing, what exactly do you want? Do you know what you've done? The hotel, damn it, kicked me and Xia out, just because your card couldn't cover the payment, in the middle of the night, dragging luggage, standing at the hotel door, my face is ruined, kicked out." This was faster than I imagined, harsher and more ruthless. It seems the general manager of that hotel, Zhou Yu's private connections, did indeed play a role, or perhaps they themselves did not dare to bear the risk of an unpaid room charge. "Oh." I raised an eyebrow slightly, deliberately including a touch of just right surprise and innocence in my tone. "How could the hotel do this, Mr. Shin? Weren't you here to discuss important business? Partners? Oh, miss, didn't you cover the advance for yourself? Or, do you not even have this bit of emergency cash on you? You stop pretending to be innocent with me here." His voice trembled with anger. "Shut down all my cards, freeze the accounts. Wasn't that to shame me? Jiang Wanqing, I really underestimated you. You usually act gentle and magnanimous, but your mind is so poisonous." "Poisonous?" I nearly laughed out loud. "Compared to you cheating in my booked honeymoon suite, using my money to support your mistress, and betting on your premarital assets to boost your IPO prospects. Freezing a few cards and freezing a few accounts hardly count as poisonous, at most, wouldn't you call it self-defense? He was choked, then grew even more furious. "I said that was a social engagement. It was a misunderstanding. Shreya, she's just more dependent on me. We're nothing. Even if there is something, that was you forcing it. Look at you yourself, always wandering around the stove or among those plants. You have no sense of romance at all. Take you out and you're a disgrace." Shreya is young, full of energy. She can understand the pressure I'm under in the mall. "Can you, besides spending my money, what else can you do? See, it's here, the classic logic of a cheating partner. It's all your fault. You're not good enough. That's why I go seeking comfort elsewhere. If it were before, these words might have wounded me, but now, I find them ridiculous, sad, even a bit pitiful for his clumsy, exhausted performance." "Shinny Chen," I interrupted his increasingly unbearable accusations, my voice as cold as ice. "I have no interest in judging your taste and moral standards. As for what I will do, at least, when you're kicked out of the hotel like a stray dog and can't even pay the room bill, I will comfortably lie in my own home and think about how to make you feel even worse tomorrow." He seemed slapped hard, panting heavily, and only after a while did he grit his teeth and say, "Fine, Jiang Wanqing, you're ruthless. You think stopping the card, freezing the account, and sending a lawyer's letter can control me. I'm telling you, dream on. The company going public is a done deal. Without the Jiang family's guarantee, I still have a way. Also, divorce. Don't even think about it. I won't agree. If you try to drag me, I'll drag you to death. See who wears out whom." Has the lawyer's letter already reached him? It seems Attorney Qin is acting fast, or perhaps he has other channels. Whether you agree or not doesn't matter. I am not moved at all by his threats. The law will make a ruling. As for your, Shinny Chen, without that patent-exclusive license, how much core technology do you still have in terms of competitiveness? Your prospectus? Dare you put in those several public relation fees that flowed funds into relatives' accounts of Xia? Or, would you like to try, in front of the Securities Regulatory Commission and investors, to explain just how many of your young and vibrant, able to understand your pressure female confidants there really are? The other end of the line was deathly quiet. Only coarse, chaotic breathing proved that he was still listening. I could feel his previous fury and bluff being replaced by a spreading panic. Every question I raised was now his deadliest weakness. How did you know? His voice was harshly dry, with an almost imperceptible tremor. "I know more than you think." I dealt him the final blow. "Shinny Chen, stop calling. If you have the guts, think about how to fill your company's financial hole, how to appease your dependent lady by, how to explain to your shareholders who are waiting to go public for cashing out, instead of behaving like a shrew, raging in front of my house in the middle of the night with nothing but fury. Jiang Wanqing, you will regret this. I will make you regret it, he roared, like a trapped beast fully enraged. My biggest regret, I said calmly, is that I was blind enough to marry you in the first place. After saying that, I simply and decisively hung up the phone. This time, I didn't block this landline number. No need, everything that needed to be said has been said, and the face that needed to be torn apart has been torn apart completely. From outside the door came a muffled, suppressive sound like someone pounding on a wall, followed by a vague curse. Then, the heavy and chaotic footsteps gradually faded away. He left, with his anger, his shame, and his fear. He disappeared into the cold early morning night. I put down my phone and turned off the reading lamp by the bed. The bedroom was plunged into darkness, with only the distant, sporadic streetlight halos seeping in from outside the window. My body was very tired, yet my mind was unusually awake. The war had entered a new phase, from undercurrents to close combat. Next, it's my turn to deal the cards. I rolled over and closed my eyes. Tomorrow, there are even more things to do. For example, go meet my father, who should be furious by now. At 7 in the morning, the doorbell rang relentlessly like a harbinger of doom, urgent and impolite in its cadence. I was actually already awake, or at least I hadn't fallen into a deep sleep. My mind was scrolling through possible scenarios and responses as if it were screening a movie. When the doorbell rang, I was standing in the kitchen, brewing my first cup of coffee for the day. There's no need to check the surveillance to know who it is at this hour. With this sort of momentum, as if the doorbell could be pushed through, the only person who would come is my dear mother-in-law, Zhao Fengji. Shen Tingting would almost certainly be right behind her. I slowly watched the coffee liquid drip one by one until a cup was filled. The rich aroma spread. I lifted the cup, leaned against the kitchen counter, and took a small sip. Full-bodied and slightly bitter, just right to wake me up. The doorbell kept ringing, interspersed with the sound of palm slaps on the door, a bang-bang noise, and Zhao Fengji's penetrating shouting, Jiang Wanqing, open the door, I know you're in there, open the door for me quickly. I pretended not to hear, and took another sip of coffee, feeling the warm liquid slide down my throat. The knocking grew louder, and Shen Tingting joined in with a thin, sharp voice, sister-in-law, open the door quickly, your mom is here. Can't you say it properly? What are you avoiding like this? Can you say it properly? I scoffed, their accusatory, judge-and-examined attitude didn't look like they were here to talk properly. After about 5 or 6 minutes, it seemed they realized that ringing and knocking wouldn't work, and the sound paused for a moment. I guessed Zhao Fengji had probably pulled out her phone to make a call. Sure enough, my phone vibrated, and another number that had just been blacklisted yesterday appeared on the screen. Shen Tingting's. I pressed it directly. A faint, furious voice of Shen Tingting came from outside the door. Mom, she hung up on me. Then Zhao Fengji's raised curses. This is outrageous. This is truly outrageous. I listened to the commotion outside, estimating the time in my mind. It should be about ready. I held a cup of coffee, walked to the foyer, and glanced outside through the screen of the video intercom. Zhao Fengji was dressed in a crimson velvet suit, her hair neatly styled, but her face flushed red with anger, looking somewhat ferocious. Shen Tingting stood beside her, wearing a pink dress, also with an expression of impatience and grievance. I pressed the call button, my voice calm and even. Mom, Tingting, so early, is there something? The two outside clearly didn't expect me to speak up suddenly, and they were startled. Zhao Fengji immediately leaned toward the camera, pointing at the screen as if she could point at my face. Jiang Wanqing, hurry up and open the door for me. Hiding inside isn't any skill. We have things to say to you face to face. Let's say it right here. I can hear you. My tone unchanged. The house isn't tidy yet. It's not convenient to entertain guests. You, Zhao Fengji's chest rose with anger. Jiang Wanqing, I am your mother-in-law. I am your elder. Is this how you treat your elders? Where is your manners? Education is something reserved for those who deserve respect. I said lightly. For example, not helping a son's elders blame his wife for not being generous enough after the son betrays. What nonsense you're spouting. Zhao Fengji's voice was sharp. Whether he's cheating or not, Yi Chen explained it to me too. It's just a social engagement. That woman came onto him herself. He's a big boss. When you socialize outside, you're bound to encounter this kind of thing. As his wife, not only do you not understand, you don't help him deal with it. You're causing such a scene, freezing his cards, making him lose face. Now even the company's going public could be ruined by you. What are you plotting? I can nearly recite it from memory. Why am I so anxious? I sneered. What I'm anxious about is not letting my money be used to support a mistress, not letting my parents' hard-earned money be squandered. Mom, you keep saying it's about socializing, so explain it to me. Does socializing require giving cars and houses? Does it have to last for more than half a year? Does it have to happen on my wedding anniversary, using the honeymoon suite I booked for the socializing? That's Ichen's kindness. Seeing that girl is pitiful, what's wrong with helping out a little? You don't lack that much money, Zhao Fengji argued unjustly, but her tone was clearly weaker. Besides, men outside the home, it's normal to flirt. If you insist on nitpicking and causing a big fuss, what good will it do you? You're still Mrs. Chen's daughter-in-law now, with shared honor and shared loss. If Chen's company doesn't go public and loses money, what benefit is there for you? Your luxurious lifestyle, becoming Mrs. Chen, isn't all of it dependent on him? Exactly, sister-in-law, Shen Tingting hurriedly chimed in, her voice softening again, with a hint of let's make peace in it. Brother surely knows he was wrong, he just got a bit muddled. Mom's right, making a big scene isn't good for anyone. Let brother go home first, close the door and talk it over properly, have him apologize to you, then restore the card, drop the guarantees, and everything as before. Wouldn't that be wonderful? We're all one family, what a family. I listen as the mother and daughter harmonize, one playing the hard face and the other the soft one threatening and the other coaxing. Their only goal, for me to swallow my pride, continue to be the fool who supports them and sustains their dignified life. I suddenly feel very tired, not physically tired, but tired of the stale, selfish, double-standard thinking to the extreme. Mom, Ting, I interrupted their performance. Some words, I think it's better to say face to face. After speaking, I hung up the intercom and directly unlocked the electronic lock. The door clicked with a soft sound. The two outside were stunned for a moment, then Zhao Fengji forcefully pushed the door open and barged in with momentum, followed closely by Shen Tingting. Jiang Wanqing, you. Zhao Fengji wanted to keep scolding as soon as she walked in, but her words got stuck when her gaze swept over the empty yet tidy living room and the way I stood there calmly holding a cup of coffee. I pointed to the sofa in the living room. Sit. My attitude was too calm, which left them a bit puzzled. Zhao Fengji gave me a suspicious look, but she still pulled Shen Tingting onto the sofa, sat up straight, and assumed a posture ready to start a fight at any moment. I didn't sit. I walked over to the TV and picked up the remote. Jiang Wanqing, what are you up to? Zhao Fengji frowned. Let me tell you, don't try to change the subject. Today you must give me an explanation, apologize to Chen immediately, restore the card and account, and that so-called guarantee, withdraw it quickly, otherwise, or what? I turned my back to them, turned on the TV, and connected my phone to mirror the screen. Or should I get Chen to divorce me? It would be a blessing. You. Zhao Fengji's face turned pale from being choked by me. Don't think our Shen family dares not. Without you, Chen and I can still find someone better. Mom, Shen Tingting tugged at Zhao Fengji's sleeve in a hurry, clearly aware that Shen Yicheng is more dependent on my funds and backing than her mother is. I ignored their quarrel and tapped a few times on my phone. The TV screen lit up and a video started playing. The scene is the hotel lobby front desk, viewed from surveillance footage. The time shows yesterday at 6:32 p.m. Shen Yichen is wearing casual clothes, holding a young woman in a white dress by the waist. They stand at the counter in a flirtatious pose. The girl tilts her head and says something to Shen Yichen. He leans down, smiling, and kisses her on the forehead, then hands the front desk a form of identification, an ID, copy of my own ID, used for the reservation. The video cut to the Hotel Western restaurant. Time is 9:47 p.m. Shen Yichen and the girl sit at a window seat, with exquisite dishes and red wine on the table. The girl uses a fork to pick up a bite of food and playfully offers it to Shen Yichen's mouth. He naturally opens his mouth to eat it, then grips the girl's hand, and they exchange a tender and smiling look, full of affection. The screen is very clear. Even the ice cream pendant on the Pandora bracelet around the girl's wrist is clearly visible, and you can also see the relaxed and joyful smile on Shen Yichen's face, one that I haven't seen in a long time. There was a deathly silence in the living room. Zhao Fengji and Shen Tingting's eyes were glued to the television screen, their expressions shifting from anger to astonishment, then to a kind of embarrassment and panic exposed on the spot. This is fake, synthetic. Zhao Fengji stood up abruptly, pointing at the television, her voice sharp but lacking in confidence. Jiang Wanqing, you actually use such despicable means to smear Chen. Hotel surveillance, original timestamps, can be authenticated by a professional agency at any time. I turned off the video, turned around, and looked at her calmly. Mom, if you think this is fake, we can go to the police and report the hotel for forging surveillance, or sue me for defamation. Do you want me to call Zhao? Fengji opened her mouth but could not speak, her face alternating between red and white. Shen Tingting was also panicked, grabbing Zhao Fengji's sleeve. Mom, this really is brother. How could this be? And there's this too. I opened my phone gallery, found yesterday's screenshot of Shen Tingting's moments photo, enlarged it, and turned the phone screen toward them. Tingting, you took this photo, right? Your brother and Miss Baicia at the poolside. Do you want me to help you recall what caption you used at the time? Oh, you didn't add a caption, you just liked it. Do you want me to read aloud the comments from those uncles and aunts below? Shen Tingting's face turned pale at once, her eyes dodged, not daring to look at me, and even less daring to look at her mother. Jiang Wanqing, what exactly do you want? Zhao Fengji's arrogant manner was finally suppressed, replaced by a kind of restlessness and unease. Even if Yi Chen was momentarily confused, you shouldn't have pushed things this far. Where are you letting his face go? Where are you letting the Shen family's face go? The Shen family's face, Shen Yichen's face, I said word for word, is his own, and yours as well, torn up by yourselves and trampled on the ground, not mine. I walked to them, looking down from a height at the two people sitting on the sofa. I opened the door for you today not to listen to your lectures, nor to bargain with you. I just want you to see with your own eyes what that only a moment of confusion and just for show good son and good brother you keep talking about actually did. Divorce is settled, the property, mine to the last penny. What isn't his, he won't get a single extra share of. As for you, my gaze swept over Zhao Fengji and Shen Tingting. From today this home does not welcome you. Please also inform Shen Yichen that I will have my assistant arrange his things and send them over. Let him not appear before me again. Zhao Fengji seemed to have all her strength drained, slumping on the sofa, her lips trembling, but she could no longer utter those words that inverted black and white. Shen Tingting lowered her head, softly sobbing, not sure whether from fear or from embarrassment. I looked at them like this, and my heart felt little pleasure, only a cold, desolate emptiness. There was a time when I truly regarded them as family. Take care on your way, no need to send you off. I turned around, no longer looking at them, picked up the cup of coffee that had already gone a little cold. A rustling sound came from behind, as Zhao Fengji was supported by Shen Tingting, her steps unsteady as she walked toward the door. No more words were spoken. The door opened, then closed gently, completely isolating everything outside. I stood there for a long time, and then I finished the remaining coffee in the cup in one gulp, bitter, yet clear-headed. This barrier with my mother-in-law has been overcome, but I know this is only the beginning. Shen Yichen himself and the precarious business empire behind him are the real hard battle. I picked up my phone and dialed Zhou Yu's number. Zhou Yu, help me arrange a meeting with Mr. Wang from Starlight Capital as soon as possible. Yes, the one who has always been interested in the emerging market business of Shen Yichen's company. It's time to fuel Shen Yichen's IPO dream once again. Mr. Wang from Starlight Capital is a sharp, middle-aged man with a strong sense of time. I called at 10 o'clock this morning, and his assistant replied that Mr. Wang has a 20-minute opening between 2 and 3 this afternoon if I can get to their CBD office. I arrived 15 minutes early. The meeting was brief, but the gift I brought was substantial enough, a third-party assessment report on the core business market prospects of Shen Yichen's company. Of course, Zhou Yu rushed to find a reputable firm to do it overnight, and the conclusion was positive, and a few seemingly casual words. Mr. Wang has always had a keen eye for emerging markets. I smiled, speaking casually as if chatting about the weather. Shen Yichen is currently devoting all his efforts to the listing process, and some internal management gaps are inevitable, especially in finance and authorization, and we are making some adjustments. If Xinhui intervenes at this moment, whether through strategic investment or business collaboration, it would be an excellent opportunity, with better costs. Ms. Wang held the teacup, her eyes sharp, as she stared at me for a few seconds. Then she smiled. Miss Jiang is well informed regarding President Shen. I've heard there have been some minor troubles recently, but the listing is imminent. These should all be resolved, right? Perhaps. I gave a wry, half-hearted smile. keeping it short, just feel that opportunity waits for no one, especially when some of the existing collaboration foundations might change. I didn't spell everything out, but Mr. Wang, a veteran who has fought his way through the business world for many years, naturally could hear the subtext. After a moment of contemplation, he nodded. I understand Miss Zhang's meaning. Thank you for the information. We will evaluate it carefully. Leaving Star Glory Capital, I checked the time, 2:40 p.m. At this time, Shinny Chen should be at the company. The disgrace from last night and the surveillance hit this morning would have him frazzled. But he will not admit defeat easily. He will be scattered around, trying to plug the guarantee gap, comforting the shareholders, and he might even be plotting new ways to deal with me. Then I'll go to his turf and add fuel to the fire. Shinny Chen's company occupies exactly 3 floors of upscale office building in the city center. I used to be a regular here, and in the early days of my startup there was even a small office of ours, after the company got on track. I gradually stepped back from the front lines, visiting less and less, but the front desk and several old employees still recognize me. Mrs. Shin, Miss Jiang. The receptionist girl saw me walk in, instantly stood up, and a flash of surprise and panic crossed her face. Obviously, there have already been whispers in the company. I nodded slightly at her, kept walking, and headed straight toward Shinny Chen's office inside. Miss Jiang, please wait a moment. The receptionist quickly came around from behind the desk, wanting to stop me but not daring to, and hurriedly said, Mr. Shin is in a small conference room, giving orders not to be disturbed. I won't disturb his meeting. I did not slow my steps, my voice calm. I'm going to his office to wait for him. But, Miss Jiang, the young girl followed beside me, at a loss for what to do. My appearance had already drawn the attention of some employees in the open plan office area, with many lifting their heads from their desks, secretly glancing this way. Their eyes filled with curiosity and inquiry, whispered discussions rippled like ripples on a water surface. I don't care. What I want is this effect. I walked to the door of Shinny Chen's office, and the door was closed. I simply turned the doorknob, and it was locked. Keys. I turned my head to the front desk clerk who was following beside me, looking nervous. Miss Jiang, this is not proper etiquette. The young girl was on the verge of tears. Etiquette. I looked at her. The company's first startup capital was provided by my father. The largest share of patent collateral was arranged by my mother. Now, I want to enter my husband's office. Do I need to be told about etiquette? My voice isn't loud, but it's clear enough to spread in the relatively quiet office area. Several employees who pricked up their ears and listened instinctively drew their heads back a little. The front desk girl's face turned pale and she muttered, unable to speak at this moment. The door to the office of the chief assistant beside the president opened. Assistant Zhou S. confidant, the man who supposedly notified me that my anniversary would be cancelled, walked out. He saw me, clearly stunned for a moment, then frowned and strode over. Madam, what are you doing here? He blocked the doorway to the office, his tone carrying a formal and detached air. Mr. Shin is in a very important meeting and has no time right now. If you have something to say, you can tell me, or wait until Mr. Shin's meeting ends and then, who are you talking to? You. I cut in, my gaze sweeping over him coldly. Assistant Zhou, you're good at handling things. President Shin asked you to notify me that the anniversary is cancelled. Where did you notify to? In a dream. Assistant Zhou's face changed slightly, and he forced a smile. Madam, you've misunderstood. That day I'm not interested in hearing your explanation. I cut him off again, pulling a thick manila file bag from my purse. I'm not here to chat with Shinny Chen. I'm here to deliver something to him. Since he's in a meeting, that's perfect. I turned around and faced the staff in the office area who were clearly pretending to work while all ears were pricked, and raised my voice. Excuse me, everyone. The entire office floor fell silent in an instant, and all eyes focused on me, including Assistant Zhou in the front desk, who looked at me in astonishment. Let me introduce myself. I am Jiang Wanqing's legal wife, and also one of the earliest investors in this company. My voice was clear and steady, without the slightest tremor. Today I'm here with an important document that needs to be handed to Mr. Shinny Chen in person. I raised the file bag in my hand. This is a draft of a divorce agreement. Considering Mr. Shinny Chen has long maintained inappropriate relationships with others during the marriage, and is suspected of transferring and squandering the joint marital property, which seriously harms my legitimate rights and interests, I formally file for divorce. Buzz. The office area instantly exploded into chaos, although there had been speculation for a long time. Hearing me state so plainly and publicly at the company surprised everyone. The shocked exclamations, the incredulous gasps, and the stifled discussions intertwined. Assistant Joe's face darkened completely. He stepped forward to stop me. "Ma'am, what are you doing? Is there something you can't say in private? This is a company," whispering behind your back. I sidestepped the hand reaching out to me, sneering. "Assistant Joe, your boss has lied to me enough in private. I think some things are better made public and transparent." I continued speaking to those employees. At the same time, based on Mr. Shinichen's personal conduct issues and the resulting corporate governance risks, I have formally notified the relevant parties to suspend all guarantees and authorizations provided by me personally and by my family for your company, including that crucial patent-exclusive license. This takes effect immediately. This statement is more devastating than a divorce declaration. A few middle managers who obviously knew the inside story immediately changed their expressions. They understand better than ordinary employees what this guarantee means for the companies. "Jiang Wanqing, are you crazy?" A furious roar came from the other end of the corridor. Shinichen probably heard the noise and rushed out of the conference room. His face was ashen, eyes full of pinkish red veins. Clearly he hadn't slept well all night, and now his expression was twisted by extreme anger and humiliation. Behind him were several executives and shareholders who also wore sullen expressions. He strode up to me, trying to snatch the file bag from my hand. "Shut up, give me the stuff, get out." I stepped back, dodging his grab, and in front of him, I slammed the thick draft of the divorce agreement with a loud bang, vigorously slamming it onto the door panel of his office. The sound was loud, echoing through the silent corridor. "Shinichen, the divorce agreement, you read it slowly yourself." I fixed my gaze on his visage twisted by fury, one word at a time, though not loud. It was enough for everyone around to hear clearly. "Also, from today on, everything about your company's listing, with me, and with the Jiang family, will have no connection at all. Take care of yourself." After speaking, I stopped looking at him, turned around, and headed back along the way I came. Where I passed, the employees lowered their heads, afraid to meet my gaze, but that silent shock and whispered murmurs followed me like a shadow. "Jiang Wanqing, you stop right there," Shinichen roared from behind me, his voice tensing with extreme anger and panic. "Do you think this will bring me down like this? Dream on. Without your Jiang family, Shinichen can still go public. Don't even think about it." I did not turn back. My steps did not even pause for a moment. His roar, his threats, to me at this moment, were nothing but the last wail of a defeated hound. I reached the elevator and pressed the down button. The elevator doors opened slowly. I walked in and turned around. Through the gradually closing gap in the elevator door, I saw Shinichen still standing stiffly at the office entrance, his face as pale as paper, his chest heaving violently. In those eyes that once brimmed with feigned gentleness, now only terrifying blood red and a frenzy on the verge of collapse remained. The executives and shareholders beside him surrounded him, speaking with anxious expressions, but he seemed not to listen to a word, instead staring fixedly in the direction of the elevator. The elevator doors closed completely, sealing off that nauseating scene. The elevator descended smoothly. I leaned against the carriage wall and slowly exhaled a foul breath. There was a thin layer of sweat in my palm, but my heartbeat was steady and strong. Tearing apart faces in public is satisfying, but I know this is far from the end. Shinichen won't sit idly by. He will strike back, and he will use every means to struggle, and what I intend to do is to strike him down completely at the place he cares about most, his career, his pride, the capital he relies on for his livelihood. The elevator has arrived on the first floor. I stepped outside, and the sunlight was a bit dazzling. I took out my phone and dialed Zhou's number. "Zhou, help me contact a few influential financial media and self-media outlets. Yes, about the news that there might be major variables in the process of Shin Ichen's company. We can reveal some of it appropriately. Also, for Bai Xia, fuel it up a notch, organize evidence of her dating multiple financiers at the same time and of taking large sums from Shinichen, into a version that's easier to read." "Okay, President Jiang," Zhou responded decisively, then added, "Also, President Jiang, Mr. Shin's second largest shareholder, Mr. Sun, just via an intermediary contacted me, saying he wants to have a private chat with you. He's very worried about some of Mr. Shin's recent decisions and personal conduct." "Oh, are the shareholders starting to waver internally?" A chilly arc curved at the corner of my mouth. Reply to him, "We can chat. the time and place, we'll decide. When the wall collapses, everyone pushes from behind. Shinny Chen, your predicament of being besieged from all sides is only just beginning. Back in the car from Shinny Chen's company, I didn't start the engine right away. That public scene of tearing faces had seemed decisive and crisp, but it was really draining. I needed a few minutes to settle my breathing and organize my thoughts. My phone buzzed with an encrypted email from Zhou. The attachment contained more detailed information about Xia. I opened it and leaned back in the chair to read. The information was even more exciting than I had imagined. Xia, 22 years old, a student in the dance department of an art college. On the surface she appears pure and lovely, but in fact she is skilled and calculating. Her client list or moneyed backers list is not limited to only Shinny Chen. Chenemo provided a clear chain of evidence, photos, consumption records, chat screenshots. Not sure how they were obtained, but they look highly credible. Apart from Shinny Chen, the top spot goes to the only son of a construction materials merchant with the surname Wang, 25 years old, a typical spoiled rich second generation. Xia met him at a car show about half a year ago, and the two quickly hit it off. The young master Wang showered her with luxury items, the latest bags and jewelry, and even took her into various high-end clubs. The two had plenty of flirtatious interactions on social media, and were even photographed kissing at the entrance of a nightclub. The second person is a Li surnamed investor in his early 40s, divorced for many years, mainly involved in the catering and entertainment industries. Bai Shiyao met him at a business cocktail party. Mr. Li admired her youthful vitality and artistic temperament, not only introducing her to a few small resources for print ads but also funding the establishment of a small studio for her. Even though it was just a shell, he periodically sent monthly payments as operating costs. Their relationship remained more covert, but Mr. Li once boasted to friends in a private club that he was funding a promising young artist, and in this list, Shinny Chen is arguably the most practical as well as the most generous. Not only does he provide ongoing cash and expensive gifts, car, down payment on a house, but he can also offer a certain level of face and potential business resources, such as the special attention from a modeling agency. Xia navigates these men with ease, her time management a masterclass. For Shinny Chen, she plays the roles of dependence and a talking blossom, satisfying his midlife longing to be worshipped. For Wang Gongzi, she is a companion, a beautiful girlfriend to be taken out and shown off. For General Manager Li, she is someone who needs to be pampered and invested in as a potential stock. Even more ironic is that the data shows Xia also has an official boyfriend, a classmate from university, from an ordinary family. Her explanation to this boyfriend is that she has taken on some well-paid part-time jobs and business activities outside, and those luxury goods and expenses are work necessities or samples given by clients. As I look over this information, along with several photos taken secretly in different settings, showing Xia intimately posing with different men, a sense of initial anger has vanished from my heart, leaving only a kind of absurd, cool aloofness. Shinny Chen, you who abandoned wife and child, though there was no child, who cherished the white moonlight you would even ruin your marriage for, turns out to be a master of time management and a high-end player. I wonder what ridiculous expression will be on that always holding a pretentious, steady face when he sees these pieces of evidence. I saved the documents, started the car, but didn't go home. Instead, I headed to the other end of the city to an arts district, where many galleries, design studios, and small performance companies are gathered. According to the records, the registered address of Xia's Shell Studio is there. That was a rather stylish loft space, with a small sign reading Poetry Art Studio hanging at the door. The door was closed, and it seemed there was no one inside. Next door was an independent bookstore, run by a young girl who looked quite kind. I walked over and casually asked, "Is anyone usually here in the studio next door?" The girl from the bookstore glanced at me, then at the neighbor, shrugged. "Oh, that one. It's rare to see anyone there. The sign has been hanging for a few months, I think. It was a bit lively when it first opened. A few people came to take photos, but after that I haven't seen much of it. It seems to be started by a girl who dances." "Not sure." I said thank you and turned to leave. Sure enough, it was a shell, a prop used to launder money and prop up the storefront. Back in the car, I pondered the next step. The information about Xia is a bombshell, but the timing and method of releasing it need to be considered. If I just fling it at Shinny Chen now, that would be too easy on him, and he could easily bite back, accusing me of forging evidence and slandering others. I need a more natural way to trigger an explosion. I was thinking about it when the phone rang again. This time it was a strange number, but the location showed it was in this city. I answered. Hello, may I ask if you are Ms. Jiang Wanqing Jiang? The other party spoke in a polite but slightly taut male voice. I am. Who is this? Hello, Miss Jiang. I am the legal counsel for Mr. Shinichen's company. My surname is Wu. The other party introduced themselves, on Mr. Shin's behalf, regarding your words and actions this afternoon at the company, as well as your unilateral divorce agreement and revocation of the guarantee. We would like to have a formal communication with you. Things happen so fast. It seems my performance this afternoon was effective. Shinichen can't sit still and is starting to apply legal pressure. Lawyer Wu, I said flatly, any words you have can be spoken directly, or please communicate through my MS. Shin, I don't think direct dialogue between us is necessary. MS. Jiang, Mr. Wu's voice became serious. Your words and actions today, including spreading false information in a public company setting, defaming Mr. Shin's reputation, and interfering with the company's normal operations, have already infringed on rights and may even constitute defamation. Mr. Shin reserves the right to pursue legal responsibility against you. At the same time, regarding your unilateral claims of the so-called faults and property transfer, Mr. Shin fully denies them. The divorce agreement draft conditions you proposed are extremely harsh and lack sincerity. Oh, I raise an eyebrow. Lawyer Wu, are you sure Mr. Shinichen completely denied it? Do you want me to send you a copy first for your appreciation, the hotel surveillance footage, and the 8 million PR expenses transfers he made to a specific account over the past year, or are you more interested in the receipts for the sports car and the down payment on the apartment that Miss Baixia received? There was a clear pause on the other end of the line for a few seconds. Obviously, this lawyer Wu wasn't fully informed about certain details, or Shinichen had concealed something from him. Ms. Jiang, before there is a firm judicial appraisal, these unilateral so-called evidence are not enough. Lawyer Wu quickly regained his composure and his tone grew more forceful. Mr. Shin has devoted enormous efforts to his family and the company. He is now at a critical rising phase in his career. Your actions not only hurt the marital relationship but also seriously damage the company's interests and the rights and interests of numerous shareholders and employees. Mr. Shin hopes you can calm down, retract the irrational decision, and sit down to negotiate a solution. Otherwise, you will bear all the serious consequences that arise from this. Consequences, negotiation. I almost burst into laughter. At this point, does he still want to pressurize me with threats and empty words? Lawyer Wu, I said calmly, tell Shinichen for me. First, I do not need him to remind me of the consequences. Second, the premise of negotiation is sincerity and facts. Before he admits to infidelity, clarifies the whereabouts of all joint property, and comes up with a reasonable division and compensation plan, there is nothing to talk about. Third, if he thinks I am defaming him, let him sue. I will accompany him to the end. Ms. Jiang, you are. Lawyer Wu still wanted to say something. Besides, I interrupted him, my tone suddenly in. Please also Mr. Shinichen to find time to concern himself with the latest on his understanding Miss Baixia. After all, young Master Wang and General Manager Li seem to care about her as well. If everyone ends up and both money and people are wasted, that would really be a joke. Seeing that, I didn't wait for his response and hung up directly. Young Master Wang, General Manager Li. These two names, like two small pebbles, were cast into what seemed a calm lake. I believe that with Shinichen's suspicious and vain personality, hearing these two names, especially from the mouth of a lawyer he entrusted, would surely stir up a tempest in his heart. He will investigate, and once he investigates, it will be very easy to uncover Baixia's true nature. Dog bites dog. It must be spectacular. I went home and selected a few of the most representative pieces of evidence Chinemo sent about Bailey Xia's multi-line operations, choosing some photos and screenshots that could blur the exact source information, and packed them into a file. Then I anonymously registered a new email account. After thinking it over, I didn't send it directly to Shinichen. Instead, I sent it to two people. The first was Shinichen's sister, Shin Tingting, who, like her brother, looks down on others and tries to curry favor with Bailey Xia as a future sister-in-law. The postscript is simple: your brother protects you as a treasure. To others, you're just playthings. Take a good look, or you'll end up looking stupid too. The second one is Shania Company's second largest shareholder, the Mr. Son, who said he wanted to talk privately with me. The postscript attached to him leans more toward a business angle. Mr. Son, for reference only. Mr. Shin's personal issues may be more complex than expected, involving multiple parties' interests and extremely high potential risks. Please evaluate cautiously its impact on the listing process. Send. After all this, I stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, watching the sunset deepen outside. Shania should have already received the lawyer's report and seen my final, pointed reminder. Will he immediately go to question by Sia, or will he endure it first, conduct a secret probe? When Shintingting sees those photos, will she run to mess with her brother, or go to White Shia to tear things apart? What will President Sun do upon receiving the email? Will he become more determined to contact me, or watch from the sidelines? For the time being, countless possibilities spread out like a spiderweb, but in any case, that seed has already been planted. Once the rifts of suspicion appear, they will only grow bigger and bigger. I opened the refrigerator and poured myself a glass of ice water. Next, it's time to wait and see how my deeply affectionate husband and his purely dependent confidant will cope with this onslaught of surprises, and I need to conserve my energy, because tomorrow there is an even more important hard battle to wage. Going back to my parents' home to face them, I must persuade them to stand firmly on my side in this battle. This is not just a divorce battle, but a defense of dignity in the future. On the way back to my parents' house, I drove slowly. It wasn't that I was unfamiliar with the surroundings, but I needed time to sort out my excuses and calm my emotions. At my parents' place, especially my father Jiang Hai, who has always valued face and has long appreciated Shini-chan's ambition and ability. Although they love me, hearing that their daughter wants a divorce, and that the other party is the son-in-law they have supported for years, would be a strong hit. The car rolled into the familiar upscale villa district and stopped in front of our own gate. The flowers and plants in the yard, meticulously tended by my mother, still looked vibrant, but I could sense a heavy, impending sense of rain in the air. I took a deep breath and rang the doorbell. The old housemaid, Aunt Zhang, who always opens the door for the family, spotted me and immediately wore a look that was both surprised and worried. Xing is back. Come in quickly. Sir and Madam are in the living room. She lowered her voice. Madam has been unsettled since she got your call, and Sir's face isn't looking good. I nodded, changed into slippers, and walked in. Father Jianghuai sat on the main sofa in the living room, holding a financial magazine, but it was clear he wasn't really reading it. His brows were furrowed. Mother Wenjing sat beside him, and upon seeing me, she immediately stood up, walked quickly over, and gripped my hand, scrutinizing me up and down. Wang Xing, what you said on the phone, is it all true? Yi Chen, is he really? Her hands were cold, and a bit trembling. I grasped my mother's hand with the reverse grip, patted her comfortingly, then looked at my father. Dad, Mom, I'm back. The phone call couldn't explain clearly. I will tell you everything clearly. We sat down on the sofa. Aunt Zhang quietly stepped back and closed the living room door. I did not cry, nor did I get excited. I spoke in the most objective, clear tone possible, narrating everything that happened over the past 3 days, along with the evidence I currently have and the actions I have taken, word for word, from being stood up on the anniversary, to receiving hotel consumption notices and check-in reminders. From Xintingting's photos to the intricate network I uncovered behind Bai Xia and her connections, from Shini-chan's evasions and Zhao Fengji's pressure, to me freezing my cards, sending a letter from a lawyer, and publicly tearing down faces, and finally to the financial I discovered, and the risks behind that crucial guarantee. I opened part of the evidence saved on my phone, the hotel surveillance screenshots, transfer records, and a photo of Bai Xia with other men, and placed them on the coffee table in front of my parents. The living room was terrifyingly quiet, with only my calm narration and my parents' increasingly heavy breaths. As I spoke, my father's face shifted from initial solemnity to a pallid blue, and the joints of his fingers gripping the magazine turned pale from the effort. My mother's tears fell silently, her grip on my hand tightening so hard that her nails almost dug into my flesh, yet she forced herself not to cry out loud. This is how it is. Finally, I summed up. I have formally filed for divorce and suspended all related guarantees. Dad, Mom, I'm sorry. I was the one who insisted on marrying him, and now it has come to this, and I might drag you into it. worry you, and it could even affect the family's business. Crazy kid. My mother finally couldn't bear it any longer, hugging me tightly, her voice choked with emotion. How could this be your fault? It's that Shin-Chen who is ungrateful. It's the Shin family who are going too far. My daughter, my poor daughter, how much injustice have you endured all these years? Father Jianghua didn't speak. He slowly lowered the magazine in his hand, removed his wire-rimmed glasses from his nose, and rubbed his brow hard. When he looked up again, those eyes, usually sharp and keen, now burned with a kind of gloomily terrifying anger I had never seen before. He didn't roar at once, but the storm brewing beneath that calmness was even more frightening. That patent-exclusive license, the father spoke, his voice hoarse yet extremely clear. The guarantor is your own investment company, and the mortgaged asset is your premarital property, but ultimately, the technology output and subsequent maintenance support all rely on the core team and channels of the Huaxian technology I control, right? I nod. Yes, Dad. Without Huaxian Technology's technical endorsement and subsequent support, that license would be worth at least 70% less for Shin-Chen's company, and there's a huge default risk. Okay, the father only said this one word. He picked up his own phone, dialed a number, and activated speakerphone. Directly, Director Jiang. The call connected quickly, and the other party spoke in a respectful tone. Mr. Chen, the father's voice carried no fluctuation, yet bore undeniable authority, regarding the XT300 series patent-exclusive license and the accompanying technical service agreement granted by Huaxian Technology to Kitchen Technology, Shin-Chen's company name. I am officially notifying you. Effective immediately, we will unilaterally suspend all technical support obligations. At the same time, we will initiate a comprehensive internal audit of the compliance and performance of this license agreement. During the audit, all technical interfaces, data exchanges, and personnel collaboration with Kitchen Technology will be frozen. The related legal documents, my legal team will send to your email within 1 hour. The voice on the other end, Mr. Chen, was evidently startled by this sudden directive, and he hesitated, saying, Director Jiang, this, over at Kitchen Technology, Mr. Shin, our previous cooperation has always been smooth, and they are about to go public soon. Such a sudden termination could trigger serious commercial disputes and claims, and would also affect Huaxian Technology's reputation. Do as I say. The father interrupted him, his tone decisive. I will bear all consequences. If Shin-Chen or anyone contacts you, just say this is my direct order and have them come straight to me. Understand. Understood. Director Jiang. Mr. Chen dared not say more. Hang up this call, and father quickly dialed another one. Old Lu, it's me, Jiang Hai. Yes, please do me a favor. In the name of the Jiang Group, issue a risk notice to all banks, financial institutions, and partners connected with us. The gist, I, personally and the Jiang Group, express serious concern about Mr. Shin-Chen and the current operations, financial authenticity, and senior leadership integrity of his control. Kitchen Technology, recommend all parties, when doing business with the company or providing financing support, to adopt an extremely prudent attitude and to reevaluate the related risks. The letter must be sent before closing time today. Okay, Director Jiang, I'll take care of it immediately. The other party answered promptly and decisively. Then came the third call, to the group's chief financial officer, Mr. Wang. Conduct a comprehensive audit of all funds flow, guarantees, and business contracts within the group and all subsidiaries, affiliated enterprises, and Kitchen Technology and its related parties. Any guarantee provided in my personal or Wancheng's personal capacity will enter the risk disposal process. Any ongoing business contracts that have performance risk, prepare to terminate unilaterally or to file a claim. I want to see a detailed report within 24 hours. 3 calls, fast, precise, and fierce. Each one hits like a hammer, smashing hard onto the already leaking publicly listed ship that is Shin-Chen. Mother has long dried her tears, and now she tightly holds my hand, her eyes filled with support for my father's decisive action and silent comfort for me. Father puts down his phone, looks at me again, his gaze bearing deep pity and a trace of imperceptible self-blame. Wangxing, I misread things back then, thought that kid had talent and could be good to you. I didn't expect he would dare to bully my daughter like this. Dad, it's not your fault. I shake my head. People's hearts can change, it's I who couldn't see it clearly enough sooner. It's good that you've seen clearly. Father took a deep breath. Divorce, it must happen, and it must be done properly. As for lawyer Chin, I'll have the group's top legal team assist her, ensuring she takes absolute initiative in the property division. The money Shin moved away. Even if we chase it to the ends of the earth, we will dig it all back until not a penny is left, and the Shin family. Mother couldn't help but speak up, her tone full of hatred. That old hag Zhao Fengji has always had shallow eyes and ill intentions. I didn't expect her to be so vicious, and Shin Tingting, so young, helping her brother deceive his sister-in-law. This family line, our Jiang family cannot afford to reach for it. It must be cut off completely. Father nodded, patting mother's hand to calm her, then said to me, Wanqing, what do you plan to do next? Chen won't be satisfied. He might go to extremes. I know. I had already thought it through. He might make trouble in public opinion, smear me, or use stalling tactics. He might also strike from Bai Shia's side, trying to prove that the so-called affair is forged, but the evidence chain we currently hold is already fairly complete, especially the financial loopholes and the fact that he mortgaged premarital assets with mine. It will be hard for him to justify himself. Don't be afraid on the public opinion front, Father spoke in a deep voice. The Jiang family hasn't been built up over the years by nothing. If he dares to smear us, he should be prepared for a backlash. As for dragging, he let out a cold laugh. He can't drag it out. His company, his dream of going public, every minute now is bleeding. He will soon understand what real pressure feels like. Just as he finished speaking, his phone rang again. He glanced at the screen, his brows lifting slightly, and signaled to me. It's a minor shareholder of Chen, surname Sun, Mr. Sun, the second largest shareholder. Things move fast. Father answered the call and put it on speaker. Hello, Mr. Sun, Mr. Jiang. Hello, hello. President Sun's voice came through the receiver, with extreme courtesy and a hint of urgency that was hard to miss. I'm sorry to bother you so abruptly. It's about Chen technology, and some matters involving Mr. Chen and Mrs. Shin. Please go ahead, President Sun, the father said. Ly, this is Mr. Jiang. I'll be direct. Today something happened in the company. Miss Jiang, oh no, Mrs. Shin came by, and we've heard some not very good news. On top of that, we just received a formal notice from Huaxin Technology, plus risk alerts from the Jiang Group. Mr. Jiang, we're all in business here. Let's speak frankly. Did Chen really mess things up this time? Between you and Miss Jiang, has there been a complete breakdown in relations? Father did not answer directly, but asked in return, what do you think, President Sun? General Manager Sun paused in silence for a few seconds, then spoke again, his tone more sincere and even a touch obsequious. Jiang Dong, not to hide anything from you, a few of us shareholders have privately discussed this, and we are all very worried about Chen's recent decisions and his personal conduct, especially at this critical stage of going public. To encounter such a fatal problem, we feel that Chen may no longer be suitable to continue as the company's CEO and actual controller. We need a more stable, more reputable helmsman to save the company, at least to save our investments. So, Father's tone remained unchanged. So, we want to solicit your opinion. General Manager Sun spoke cautiously. If we initiate a special shareholder procedure to remove Chen from his post, you, Jiang Group, or Miss Jiang, would you have any interest in taking over or bringing in a new strategic investor? We believe that with the Jiang family's support and backing of credibility, the company might still have a glimmer of life. I listened, a cold sneer rising in my heart. These shareholders, seeing the great ship about to sink, immediately want to throw the captain overboard and find a lifeboat elsewhere. The reality is that Stark, my father, gave me a glance, and I shook my head gently. Chen's company is now a mess. Its core technology depends on Huaxin. There are financial holes. Its reputation is tarnished. Taking over would bring more problems than benefits. There's no need. Dad nodded and spoke into the phone. Mr. Sun, the top priority for the Jiang family in Wanqing at the moment is to handle the private dispute with Mr. Chen. We have no interest in getting involved in kitchen technology-specific operations. However, as a former partner, I personally suggest that all shareholders promptly hire an independent third-party organization to conduct a comprehensive financial and legal due diligence on the company, to uncover the true financial state and risks, and then decide on the next steps. As for the removal of Shin Chen, that is an internal matter among your shareholders, and we should not weigh in. These words are spoken with perfect composure, not only showing a detached attitude but also hinting at a tendency to support their investigation and removal. Mr. Sun clearly understood and kept thanking him. I understand. Thank you, Director Jiang, for your guidance. Then we won't trouble you any longer. Hanging up the phone, the living room fell quiet again. Father looked at me. Did you see that? When the wall collapses, many push it down. Shini-chan's troubles have only just begun. I nodded, but there wasn't much joy in it, only a settling calm. My father's support is more powerful than any retaliatory measure. This means that the war between me and Shini-chan has, from a personal level, risen to a full-scale pressure from the family and capital. Dad, Mom, thank you, I said sincerely. Ridiculous child, why thank? The mother's eyes reddened again. This place will always be your home, for now. Come back to live here. Don't go back there, it's distressing to see. Yeah, bring it back, Father also said. Leave the rest to the professionals. You should rest well and adjust your mood. If the sky falls, I'll bear it for you. I snuggled up beside my mother, feeling the long unmissed, unconditional familial warmth. Yes, I have a home to return to, and someone to rely on. And what would Shini-chan be like when he loses everything he relies on and is betrayed by everyone? I am looking forward to it. On the first night I moved back to my parents' house to live there, I did not sleep soundly, not because I was restless about the bed, but because the strings in my head were still taut, and in the dark various information and possible consequences churned. By 6 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. Mother woke even earlier, personally cooking congee in the kitchen. The air was filled with a faint rice fragrance and the scent of calming lotus seed and lily. Seeing me come downstairs, she immediately served a bowl and brought it over. Why not sleep a little longer? Your complexion is still a bit pale. Drink this porridge to calm your nerves. I took the porridge bowl, the warmth seeping through the ceramic into my palm, the scent of home, steady and reassuring. Just as I sat down at the dining table, Aunt Xiang came over, with a hint of hesitation and disgust on her face. Ma'am, miss, outside. Those two from the Shin family are here again. Mother frowned. Who? Shini-chan, not Mr. Shin. Aunt Xiang shook her head. It's his mother and his sister, Zhao Fengji and Shin Tingting. They came while it was still barely dawn, kept pressing the doorbell. I didn't dare open it, and they've been waiting at the door since, and they're still there now. Zhao Fengji and Shin Tingting, they actually dared to come, and so early in the morning. I set down my spoon and met my mother's gaze. Her face darkened. They still have the nerve to come. Drive them away. Have the security guard drive them away, Mom. I held my mother's hand. Let them in, Wan Xing. My mother looked at me in puzzlement. They come for only two possible reasons. One is to follow us instructions, to nag and pry for information. The other is, I paused. They are afraid of themselves and want to come to make amends, regardless of which, listening to what they have to say can't hurt. It's better than letting them scream at the gate and make the neighbors laugh at us. My mother thought for a moment. Sighed. Very well, Aunt Zhang. Let them in. Take them to the side room. She looked at me again. I'll stay with you. No need, Mom. I shook my head. You go rest, or go to the garden to see your flowers. I can handle a few words. If you're there, they might not perform as well. Mother was a bit worried, but she finally nodded. All right, I'll be upstairs. If anything, just shout. I walked alone into the side room. It is smaller than the living room, arranged more elegantly, with sunlight filtering through white gauze curtains, soft yet cool. Soon, Aunt Zhang led Zhao Fengji and Shin Tingting in. Unlike the imposing, gold-adorned appearance the day before yesterday at my doorstep, today Zhao Fengji looks like an eggplant after being frostbitten, wearing a dull gray dress, her hair a bit messy, eyes puffy, and pale and haggard. Shin Tingting follows behind her, also with her head bowed, eyes red as if she had cried. Makeup on her face very light, even somewhat disheveled. The two of them looked at me sitting alone on the sofa, both stunned for a moment. Then Zhao Fengji's face immediately contorted with a very unnatural smile, a smile that carried flattery and supplication, which looked particularly awkward on her gaunt face. Wan Xing, Zhao Fengji spoke, her voice hoarse and choked with tears, cautiously taking 2 steps forward. Mom, Auntie came to see you. I looked up at her, said nothing, and didn't invite them to sit. Zhao Fengji stood awkwardly in place. Shin Tingting gently tugged at her sleeve. Zhao Fengji seemed to have summoned up great courage, and with a loud plop, she suddenly knelt down. Stargazer, Mom, Auntie, Please, I beg you." Zhao Fengji's tears came suddenly, streaming down her cheeks. "Before it was Auntie's fault. Auntie went senile, said those damned words. Auntie apologizes to you. All the wrongs, all the faults, it's Ichen's fault. It's his brainless mistake. But you two were once husband and wife. You can't stand by and watch him die." Shintingting also knelt down, sniffing. "Sister-in-law, my brother knows he was wrong. He really knows he was wrong. Now he's almost gone mad. The company is in chaos. The shareholders are pressuring him. The bank is chasing debts, and Huaxin Technology has lost support. Sister-in-law, please consider our past relationship. Be magnanimous. Give my brother a break. He can't be ruined like this." I looked at the mother and daughter kneeling in front of me, and not a second's ripple of emotion, only irony, past ties. When did they ever care about any fraction of that sentiment? "Get up." My tone was cold. "This is the Jiang family, not a theater stage. If you guys do this and my parents see it, they'd think something happened to me because of you." Zhao Fengji and Shintingting glanced at each other, stood up a bit awkwardly, but still didn't dare to sit, standing there stiffly. Xin Yichen almost ruined it. I picked up the teacup Aunt Xiang just brought in, gave it a gentle blow to cool it. "What does this have to do with me? It's his own misconduct and poor management that angered the shareholders and partners. In the business world, those who bet must accept the outcome. It's very fair." "No, not like this." Zhao Fengji hurried forward half a step, but was stopped by my gaze and could only stand in place, twisting her hands restlessly. "Wanqing, I know Yichen owes you an apology. He deserves to die. But you two aren't divorced yet. You are still husband and wife. If his company really collapses, and he falls into debt up to his neck, that debt will be a joint debt of the couple. It will also drag you down, and your parents, after investing so much money and resources. Would it all be for nothing too, right? Wanqing, even for your own sake, and for your parents, you can't let the company collapse like this. Joint debt. Throwing good money after bad, up to now. You're still using this kind of talk to scare me, to kidnap me." I set the teacup down and looked at her. "Mom, Aunt Zhao, it seems Uncle Shinichen didn't explain it clearly to you. We are filing for divorce, and he is at fault. I have already secured evidence of him converting and squandering the marital assets for his company's debts, as long as the portion used for his personal extravagance or for non-ordinary business. I have enough evidence to sever the ties and even pursue compensation. As for my parents' investments," I smiled. "They care more that I, their daughter, am not being wronged. Money can be earned again, but a daughter being bullied is unacceptable." Zhao Fengji's face turned paler, her lips trembling, as if she hadn't expected me to be so resolute and clear-headed. Shintingting was anxious too, speaking with a crying tone. "Sister-in-law, even if you want a divorce, even if you want to split the assets, you can't ruin my brother like this. He really knows he was wrong now. He has cut off ties with Baixia already, really cut them off," he said. "As long as you are willing to forgive him, he is willing to do anything. He can give you the company too. Just give him a way to live." Cut off, I nearly laughed out loud. Was it Baixia's true face that frightened them into cutting off, or the pressure from all sides forcing it? How he handles Baixia is his business, none of mine. I spoke in a plain tone. As for a way out, the path is one you walk yourself. When he chose that path in the first place, he should have foreseen today's consequences. Jiang Wanqing, Zhao Fengji found that my words wouldn't soften, that a sliver of feigned pity and pleas she had kept up started to falter. Her voice sharpened with her habitual, but she quickly suppressed it, adopting a lower, more obsequious stance. "Wanqing, Auntie begs you, even if you don't care about my face or your mother-in-law's, consider this old bones of mine. Consider I once was your mother-in-law. Took care of your confinement, though only with a few words. You just can't show a softer heart this time. You men, out there, you can be a little lecherous, sneak a taste of strangeness, and that's actually normal. Which successful man isn't like that? As long as he knows to come home, to bring the money home, isn't that enough? Why must you push it to a fish's death in a net moment? Here we go again. Men cheating is very normal. This rhetoric is truly the dross etched into their bones." I looked at Zhao Fengji's face, which was full of it. Is only natural and grudging compromise, and suddenly felt that even getting angry with her would be a waste of life. "Aunt Zhao, I hardened my face completely. I have no right to judge your values, but please don't use them to demand things from me. I find it disgusting. You, Zhao Fengji's face flushed red from my blunt words, and furthermore, I stood up, walked to the window, with my back turned to them. I know very well what your purpose today is. It isn't that you truly think Shin Yichen is at fault, nor that you sincerely came to apologize to me. You're just afraid that Shin Yichen will fall from power, afraid you will lose the luxurious life you currently enjoy, afraid of losing the halo of being the CEO mother and CEO sister who is courted and flattered. So you can kneel, you can cry, you can say all the nice things, but if today it isn't Shin Yichen who falls, but me, Jiang Wanqing, what would you do? You would probably only clap your hands in glee. Think. I deserve it, and then joyfully welcome that Madame Baijia to come in. Behind me, there was a deathly silence, only heavy and suffocating breaths. I hid at their most intolerable thoughts. So, please go back. I turned around, my gaze sweeping over their ruined faces. What happens between Shin Yichen and me, the law will issue a fair judgment. As for the rise and fall of your Shin family, it has nothing to do with me anymore, Aunt Shang. See them out. Jiang Wuxing, are you really going to be so ruthless? Zhao Fengji finally tore off the last bit of disguise, her voice sharp and desperate. You will reap what you sow. Revenge. I laughed, and there wasn't a hint of warmth in that smile. Aunt Zhao, do you think what Shin Yichen is experiencing right now counts as karma? Zhao Fengji trembled all over, as if drained of her last strength, slumping to the ground, with Shin Tingting hastily supporting her. Aunt Shang has come over, and she courteously yet firmly made a please. Gestured. The mother and daughter, spiritless and staggering, were driven out of the side chamber. I sat back on the sofa, picked up the cup of tea that had cooled completely, and took a slow sip. Bitter, yet refreshing. That scene just now gave me no sense of relief at all. I only felt sorrow. I felt sorrow for Zhao Fengji and Shin Tingting's inherent dependence and stupidity, and also for the self who once still entertained fantasies about such a family. Mother came down from upstairs, sat beside me, and gently wrapped an arm around my shoulders. You've heard it all. You've done well, child. I leaned into my mother's embrace and shook my head. They won't rest easy, Mother said with worry, especially Zhao Fengji. She has no bottom line. I know, I said calmly, but she and her son, now they're like locusts after autumn. They won't be hopping for many days. Inside, it should be even more lively now. While we were still talking, my phone vibrated with a message from Show you, Mr. Jiang. Message confirmed. About half an hour ago, Kitchen Technology held an emergency board meeting, led by Mr. Sun. Several shareholders jointly proposed to vote to remove the CEO and chairman due to Mr. Shin Yichen's personal conduct severely harming the company's interests, and the company faces major operational risks. A new temporary management team has taken over and announced an indefinite postponement of the listing plan, while engaging a third-party organization to conduct a comprehensive audit and crisis management. Shin Yichen is currently restricted from entering the company's main office areas. Removed. Indefinitely postponed the listing. I hold my phone and watch the lines of words on the screen. What matters most to Shin Yichen is breaking apart at a visibly rapid pace, and all of this has only been in just a few days. I handed my phone to my mother to take a look. After she finished reading, she let out a long sigh, but there wasn't much joy in her eyes. She simply held my hand more tightly. Is it over? The mother whispered. For him, it's over. I looked at the bright sunshine outside the window, but for me, the new life has only just begun. However, before fully opening a new chapter, there is one final epilogue that needs to be resolved. For example, will Mr. Shin, who has just lost everything and is out of touch, miss by unleash a dog-eats-dog showdown? I am happy to be a quiet observer. The news that Shin Yichen was formally removed from the CEO position and that the Kitchen Technology listing plan was indefinitely postponed hit like an unexpected hurricane, sweeping through the city's business and social circles. Financial analysis articles flooded the media, while rumors and gossip ran rampant. The once radiant young talent and celebrity entrepreneur had overnight become a byword for business failure and moral blemishes. I did not pay too much attention to the clamor. My life entered another rhythm. During the day, with the help of attorney Qin and Zhou Yu, I steadily advanced the divorce proceedings and the recovery of assets. Shin Yichen's assets were gradually frozen and investigated, and the funds flowing to Baixia and her related parties had already begun the retrieval process. He tried to resist, but in the face of solid evidence and legal procedures, he appeared pale and powerless. At night, I stayed at my parents' home, tending the flowers with my mother, chatting with my father about economic trends, and occasionally meeting one or two real old friends for tea, my heart was unusually calm and fulfilled. A week later, Zhou came to me with a gold-embossed invitation. "Mr. Jiang, look at this." I took it, opened it. It was an invitation to the Kitchen Technology Listing Appreciation and Strategic Launch Conference, to be held in the city's most luxurious Xinhe Hotel banquet hall tomorrow night. But the invitees were not Kitchen Technology, but Xinran Capital and Mengxing Personal Studio, Starspark Capital. I raised my eyebrows slightly. That was Wang, general manager of Xinhui Capital, leading several other funds interested in Kitchen Technology's original business but not wanting to get involved in Shinicheng's mess. A newly established investment fund, Wang contacted me the moment Shinicheng fell from power, expressing willingness to cooperate. And Wanxing Personal Studio is a personal brand and investment platform I recently registered, using my premarital savings and a portion of assets to be divided. Focusing on culture, creativity, and female consumer sectors. Yes, Zhou said with a gleam in her eyes. Wang's idea is that since the pre-booked venue and some materials for Kitchen Technology's original listing celebration are already paid for, it would be wasted not to use them. Why not use this venue and moment to hold the founding press conference for Starspark Capital and publicly launch the first investment project of Wanxing Personal Studio? 1. Maximize resource utilization. 2. It's meaningful in a profound way. Profound. I stroked the smooth invitation card with my thumb, and a slow smile curved at the corners of my mouth. Translate to English. Use Shinicheng to reserve a venue to celebrate his pinnacle in life, to announce the end of his business career, and my rebirth. Is there a more ironic, more thorough way to end things? Okay. I shut the invitation letter, replied to Mr. Wang. I will attend on time, as the founder of Wanxing Personal Studio. On the night of the press conference, the Galaxy Hotel ballroom was bright with lights. With elegant attire and dignified demeanor, not only financial media and investors attended, but also many socialites and curious onlookers drawn by the news. The air was filled with a subtle, carnival-like excitement. Everyone knew whose party it should have been tonight, and now, the protagonist has completely changed. I was dressed in a simple yet sharp black suit and skirt with my long hair tied up, makeup refined, stepping and wearing high heels. Accompanied by Zhou and President Wang, I walked into the venue with composure. The flash bulbs instantly lit up like a sea. Countless gazes focused on me, curious, investigative, admiring, and gloating. I wore an appropriate, polite smile, and the calm look swept across the room. I saw many familiar faces, former partners who used to quarrel with Shinicheng, now holding wine glasses and nodding at me, some former executives and shareholders of Shin's company, with complex expressions, and even Zhao Fengxi and Shin Tingting huddled in a corner, trying to fade into the background, dressed in outdated gowns, their faces sallow and incongruous with the surrounding glamour. I did not see Shinicheng among the crowd. It occurred to me that he probably did not receive an invitation, or if he did, he had no face to show up here. The press conference proceeded as planned. President Wang, representing Xinjiang Capital, took the stage first to elaborate on the new fund's investment direction and the first major move, the complete acquisition of Kitchen Technology after divesting the bad assets and debts, followed by restructuring and integration. He specifically emphasized that under a new, more professional, more trustworthy management team, this segment of high-quality business will be revived. The applause from the audience was thunderous, especially for those shareholders who had just crawled out of the Kitchen Tech quagmire and yet found hope in the new fund. Their applause was particularly enthusiastic. Then it was my turn to take the stage. The spotlight fell on me, and the room fell silent in an instant. Everyone held their breath, waiting. What they wanted to hear might be more than just a business plan. I walked to the microphone, adjusted the height, and let my gaze sweep slowly across the room once more. There was no nervousness, only the calm that comes after a decision is settled. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming. I am Jiang Wanxing, founder of the Wanxing Personal Studio. My voice speaks clearly through the speakers across the venue. Tonight, standing here, it does carry a somewhat special meaning for me personally. Not long ago, this venue was originally planned to host another celebration, a celebration of the false prosperity of a so-called business empire built on lies, betrayal, and illicit means. The room was dead silent, so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Many people widened their eyes, not expecting me to cut straight to the point so directly. Fortunately, false bubbles will eventually burst. I continued, calm yet forceful, and today, we are here to celebrate a genuine rebirth. the first investment project of Wanching Personal Studio will collaborate with my alma mater School of Arts to establish a fund dedicated to supporting truly talented and principled young female artists. We will not only provide funding but also offer professional, entrepreneurial guidance and resource matchmaking, helping them pursue their artistic dreams while preserving independent character and dignity, without reliance or compromise. My words were implying something, and many people in the audience showed understanding or amused smiles, their eyes unintentionally or intentionally glancing toward Zhao Fengji and her daughter. Those two wished they could bury their heads in their chests. At the same time, I paused, raising my voice a little to be clearer. On this occasion I also want to formally announce a private decision. My divorce proceedings with Mr. Shinny Chen have reached a final mediation as of yesterday, based on his significant fault in the marriage and his malicious attempt to transfer marital assets. The court has supported the vast majority of my claims. The related property division and legal documents have taken effect. There was no cheer, but the audience underneath erupted in a muffled gasp and buzzing discussions. It's a success, and in such a short time, this is undoubtedly another public punishment for Shinny Chen. One page has turned. I met all the eyes with a firm and powerful tone. In the future, I will devote myself to the development of Wanching Studio, strive to create truly valuable undertakings, and move forward hand in hand with all sincere and upright partners. Thank you everyone. I bowed slightly. The applause this time was truly enthusiastic and enduring. There was recognition for my business plan, but more admiration for the resilience, wisdom, and decisiveness I showed during this upheaval. I stepped off the stage, and Mr. Wang and others immediately crowded around to congratulate me. Many others stepped forward as well, handing over business cards and expressing willingness to cooperate. I handled it with ease, clearly the absolute focus of the evening. Just as the press conference entered the free candy phase and the atmosphere grew even livelier, there was suddenly a commotion and clamor at the entrance of the banquet hall. Let me in, I have an invitation, I want to see Jiang Wanqing, let me in. A hoarse and frantic voice pierced through the music and laughter. Everyone looked toward the source of the commotion. At the entrance stood Shinny Chen, tightly blocked by two tall hotel security guards. He was wearing a wrinkled shirt, his hair disheveled, his eyes red, completely losing the meticulous and elite image of the past, like a total failure and a lunatic. He waved a crumpled piece of paper in his hand, trying to push past the guard's obstruction. Jiang Wanqing, you come out for me. Do you think you've won, you scheming woman? You've ruined everything of mine. Give it back to me, he roared hoarsely, struggling, drawing the attention of everyone in the hall. Surprise, contempt, spectators, photographers, all eyes focused on him. I stood in the center of the crowd, watching him calmly from a distance. Zhou Yu wanted to step forward to handle it, and I waved my hand gently. The security guards dutifully blocked him, and the scene became somewhat chaotic. The banquet organizer rushed over in a hurry. Shinny Chen looked at me, his eyes shooting out like a poison knife, filled with bone-deep hatred and despair. Jiang Wanqing, speak up. You had the ability to ruin me in public, but you don't have the courage to come and face me. That money, those projects, they are all mine. What right do you have to take them away? And Pei, is it you? Is it your doing that she left me too? You devil! Oh, Bai Xia has left him too. I'm not surprised. When the tree falls, the monkeys scatter, let alone such a clever player. I did not walk toward him, I just stood still, picked up a glass of champagne from the waiter's tray nearby, raised it toward him from afar, and then, with a voice that only a few people nearby could hear, yet could be read from the lip movements, said silently, "Happy anniversary, Mr. Shin." Then I drank the golden liquid in the cup in one gulp, spicy, slightly sweet, with a taste of victory. Shinny Chen understood my lip movements, and he froze like lightning had struck him, rigid in place. That crazy momentum collapsed in an instant, leaving only a sense of utter defeat and despair, as if he had been dragged into the abyss. He no longer roared, he stood there dumbfounded, staring at me, at a woman who had once been his accessory and who now stood tall above him, crushing him underfoot. The security guards took the opportunity to escort him out. The commotion subsided, but the atmosphere in the banquet hall grew even more energetic, with everyone excitedly discussing the dramatic moment just now. I set down my wine glass and smiled apologetically at the surrounding guests. A small interlude. Forgive us for the inconvenience. Let's continue. The party continued, as if the farce from just now had never happened. Deep into the night, guests gradually dispersed. I stood on the rooftop terrace of the hotel, looking down at the brilliant city night. The night breeze was cool, blowing away The last traces of intoxication show you walked over with my shawl, gently draping it over me. President Jiang, everything has been taken care of. Shinny Chen has been escorted off the hotel premises by security. In addition, news from Bai Xia's side says she has accepted the arrangement of that investor Mr. Li, and is preparing to go abroad to further her studies. It seems that a certain settlement has also been reached with Prince Wang's side. She will not appear before you again. I nodded, remaining silent. Mother called, her tone gentle. Xing, is it over? Come back early. Aunt Shang has cooked you some soup. Okay, Mom, I'll go back right now. I hung up the phone and took one last look at the bustling place beneath my feet. Here once carried my innocence, my efforts, and my heartbreak, and it witnessed my rebirth and rise from the ruins. Shinny Chen, Zhao Fengji, Bai Xia. All the people who once brought me harm and trouble have dispersed like dust and can no longer affect me in the slightest. My future is in my own hands. Let's go, show you. I turned around and walked steadily toward the elevator. There's an early meeting at the studio tomorrow. We need to further refine the details of the Women's Artist Fund. Okay, General Manager Jiang. The elevator doors slowly close, shutting that brilliant yet icy light outside. A new journey has only just begun, and this time, there are only stars and the sea, with no more haze.